Oh, yeah. How sweet it is. I don't care if it's only one win. I'll take it. Brewers last week. Yeah. Hell yeah. Brewers last night. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bowers going yard. Yelly going yard. Then they started pouring it on. They were dinking. They were dunking. Station to station. Double in the corner. And Sproul wasn't. He was pretty good. He gave up a few walks and got it together as the day went on and had one hell of a night. Brewers beat the hell out of the Cubs 9-3. 9-3. They are a half game back, my friends. Just a half game back. You'd like to see them take that lead tonight if they get that game in. Apparently, there is going to be weather in the area, so we'll wait and see what happens. But I love it. Yeah, we've got our buddy Chuck Freimund going to join us today for a couple of segments. And we'll talk with him about this Brewers team that just continues to figure out ways to win. Cubs have not, and their 15-game home win streak. Snap by the Brewers. Snap! Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that's no. Sorry. There you go. Cubs down. So now we'll see what happens tonight. Brewers back at it again, and the Mizrowski. The Miz is on the hill this evening. You've got the Packers off this week, back at camps next week. We've got some NFL news and notes, a lot of whispers about the Bucs and Giannis, and we're going to have our buddy Jim Owczarski coming up here in about 40 minutes. We'll talk with him about what is going on with the Milwaukee Bucks and everything that he is hearing. I hear Miami, I hear New York. We hear all the usuals that are being thrown around now, so we'll see if there's any validity to all of this. We did make the announcement yesterday that the Pelicans did not hire Darvin Ham, so will Darvin remain with the team? We'll get into that discussion a little bit later on today as well. We got some NFL news and notes, and the biggest story in the NFL is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is teamed up yet again with Mike McCarthy, and those two are back at it. So now we wait and see if things are, I know that Adam Shine yesterday said that the combination of McCarthy and Rodgers will have more wins this season than the combination of LaFleur and Love. I wrote that down. So I want to see how the season goes, but I wrote that down to see if Adam Shine is going to be right or wrong. I think he's going to be wrong. Just my opinion, but we'll wait and see. So there you go. So just a lot of stuff. But it was a feel-good night last night, to be perfectly honest with you. It just felt good. Sat there it just was such a glorious night. It was such a glorious night. Had all the doors and windows open, right? Little sticky. That's okay. I love humidity, right? Little sticky. Went out back, sat on the patio, turned the TV on, reconnected it to the house. It's like, oh, this is nice. Nice. Like this. Did that. Sat back, watched a little of the game outside. Then it started getting breezy. I'm like, I'm going to go inside. So I sat inside, watched the end of the game, and I got to admit, I went upstairs with a smile on my face. There we go. It was a glorious night. Great sleep last night. Started my new, what do you want to call it? Influencer fitness thing with Total Life Fitness. I started that today, started the workouts today. I was going to do it yesterday, but I was just dragging ass. I just couldn't. So started everything. Kind of watching, you take the pictures of what you eat and all that kind of stuff. And so I started that today, and I feel really good. From my vacation, I am sitting only a pound heavier than when I left, which is just tremendous news after a engorgement of a weekend. So I'm happy about that. I just feel good today. It's just, there's so many positives today. Love it. So I'm just, yes, thank you very much. If you want to get a hold of us and you want to feel positive as well, you can. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can track us down via text message if you choose to do so. 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. We are on YouTube. You can watch us there each and every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com. And you can find us /Bill Michaels Show. We're on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Wisco Grant for Grant Bills. Our app is Wisco Sports Zone, WISCO, Wisco Sports Zone. Email the program, THE Bill Michaels @gmail.com. The website, simply thebillmichaels.com. And as you heard behind me just a moment ago, for those that are keeping score at home, we have added, I think, like 7 new followers in the last 5 minutes when it comes to Instagram. So thanks to those of you following us on Instagram and making the meter move. But we just got some more followers. Follow us on Instagram, THE, The Bill Michaels Show. The Bill Michaels Show on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well, and the TV show My 24 TV on Saturday night in Milwaukee. My 24 TV on Saturday night in Milwaukee. And the meter is moving like crazy this morning. It went up yet again, another one. 4933 in our quest for 5,000 followers over on Instagram. Thank you so much. Grant Bills, how the hell are you doing today?
Doing excellent. I feel like I'm walking on a cloud, Bill. I feel
now,
today
why
the
were you
same
not
way.
watching the game last night?
Well, I listen to a lot of games because I get home and I'm doing things. I'm making dinner. I'll walk a lot in the evening. So I listen to most of the games on the radio.
Okay.
I watched the last couple of innings, but I would say I do my majority of Brewers consumption just listening to games. But especially the Cubs, like I just get too nervous. I can't watch. So it's like a scary movie where you cover up some of your eye. It's the same thing. Like I'll listen, but I can't watch. But today I feel great. I feel like I feel the day after the Packers win a football game. So much spring in my step. Just the sun shines a little bit brighter. These Cubs games are huge.
Right.
And a really satisfying win last night. Not just a win, but Yelich hits a homer and Sproat was really good. Kind of a very classic Brandon Sproat start, but pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Then Drowan comes in and everyone talks about, the Caleb Durbin, the Kyle Harrison trade. The Brewers fleeced. Well, this Drowan cat's been awesome too. Yeah. So just a lot to celebrate in last night's win. But, of course, first and foremost, it's just the fact that they beat the Cubs.
I know. Even on the misguided or misinformed or whatever it was challenge, because the equipment failed, and you saw counsel like, what? No, what? Okay, what? And then it went in their favor. He's like, okay, and then the Brewers still ended up with the extra challenge, which ended up paying off for them in the long run, which I liked, because I even thought to myself, that's going to come back and actually help the Brewers.
That was a very confusing moment because so the ump said at the time so the call in the field stands, the Brewers will retain their challenge. Mm-hmm. And they pointed that out on the radio. It's like, okay, that's weird, but it sounds like they're not going to punish them a challenge, but they didn't fix it in the scoreboard in the arena, in the stadium right away, to the point where a couple of innings later, the umpire had to make an announcement like, by the way, we can't fix it on the scoreboard, but the Brewers still have 2 challenges.
Yes.
I hadn't seen that yet this year, where it's like the computer couldn't decide whether or not it was a strike or a ball, so they just left it.
It didn't come up on the scoreboard. Go figure. The one time that a call would have gone in favor of the Brewers, it didn't come up in Chicago. I'm just saying. Without saying. Thought I'd throw it out there. Not only, we've seen this story before, anything they can do down there to screw the Brewers, whether it's, by the way, we've got a sunshiny day. There might be rain. Remember that? There might be rain. It never rained. And they pushed the Brewers series off to, a 4-game series in 3 days down at Wrigley. Oh, no. And then they had another rain out that they pushed to a 5-game series in 4 days or something like that down at Wrigley. Yeah. Screw you. Cheating sons of bitches. There you go. So they got screwed again last night. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep our challenge, and you can go ahead and keep that strike that wasn't. But, by the way, Jake Bowers is going to bomb. Go from there. Like it. It went off the scoreboard.
Jake Bowers could have 5 home runs in the last 3 days, because he had 2 at Target Field on Sunday that got knocked down by the wind. Like he had one earlier in last night's game that went almost to the basket. Mm-hmm. Like Jake Bowers is not only hot, we could be living in a world where Jake Bowers has like 4 home runs in 2 games. That's how hot he is right now and how hard he's hitting the ball.
He's been bombing. Yep, he's been bombing. I love it. So anyway, what else? I'm pretty much done. I'm just giddy. I can't wait for tonight. I can't wait for tonight. Here's another reason why I can't wait for tonight. So I'm getting ready to go on the air today. And for those that don't know, I've kind of, and I think I've mentioned it once or twice, but I took my motorcycle out to Suburban Harley because I tell everybody all the time, you get it ready for summer. And I have been back and forth over the last couple of years on shocks, whether to get Air Ride or something different. And the people that have Air Ride go, you got to get it. But I have had 3 friends. Now, Air Ride basically is exactly the way it sounds. You have like a cushion in a shock, and you fill it with air. It's got a little compressor on there. You flip the button, and you fill it to where you are comfortable. It goes up, it goes down, whatever. But I have had 3 friends that when air ride dies, doesn't matter where you're at, you can't move the motorcycle. Like when it dies, it lets all the air out and you're dead. You're done. There is no more. You got to get it towed. And this is the 3rd time I've seen a friend have that happen. So I went out and I asked him at Suburban and I said, hey, what do you want to do with the shocks? Because I just want a more comfortable ride and a little bit firmer ride, especially when Kristen's on the back. So they said, if you're going to go with anything, go with the Super Shocks and the Legends. Do not do air ride. Air ride is overrated. Air ride breaks down. There is no air ride system that is flawless. And I said, okay, no problem. And it doesn't cost as much if you get shocks versus air ride. So I said, okay. So I gave it to him on, I don't know, last Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And they said, yeah, we'll try to get to it when we can. I said, no hurry. If I can get it back by Labor Day week or Memorial Day weekend, that'd be great. But otherwise, no hurry. They called me this morning and they're like, yep, we got you done. We got the oil change. We got the shocks. Come on out. So I got to take Kristen's bike out and pick mine up. So I'm going to just kind of switch them out. But I've got my motorcycle back. That's just a banner freaking day. So I don't know what to do. I'm like, it's not supposed to rain today. It's supposed to get a cold front that goes through. But I'm going to go drop her bike off, pick my bike up, get it home as quick as I can. And I'm going to go for a ride. I might go to like Curly's Waterfront because it's Taco Tuesday. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, maybe catch the first inning of the Brewers game this evening, and then ride it back home. That way I get to go out, ride around Pewaukee Lake, beautiful Pewaukee Lake area, Lake Country. Go out there, maybe grab one of those tacos without the taco, just eat the meat and everything because I want to stay healthy, and do that, and then come home. I can't wait. That's my day, man. I'm as giddy gets. It's just, there's not much, and my new printer ink showed up this morning, overnight. Because my alarms went off at about 4:30 this morning. I'm like, who the hell's here? And I see somebody walking up on my front door, and I'm like, and I'm gonna pop a cap in somebody. And then I realize it's my Amazon delivery guy dropping off my ink. I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my Amazon guy.
You live a thrilling life.
I do, man. I just little stuff. It's little stuff like that. Because I'm either going to go ride around and go get something to eat, or I'm going to ride and then come home and fire up the grill and put a couple of brats on it with some sauerkraut, some mustard and stuff over it, and just eat the brats on the plate. I don't know. Maybe I take a poll. I don't know. That's how giddy I am today. Stupid things make me happy. It just does. So there you go. We got Chuck Freimund coming up for a couple of segments today. About an hour from now, we're going to talk to Chuck. About half an hour from now, we're going to talk to Jim Owczarski about all the rumors floating around about the Milwaukee Bucks. But the Brewers on top, and they win 9-3, which was fantastic. And in addition to that, they are only a half game back now in the standings. I just like saying that. They are creeping up like a bad pair of underwear on the Cubs. They just are. And St. Louis, by the way, did not play yesterday. So they are a full game back right now. So Brewers a half game back, Cardinals a game back, Pittsburgh 4.5, Cincinnati hanging out at 5 games back in the division. There you go. That's the way things are. So anyway, that being said, let's do this. We'll break. We'll come back. I am giddy. It's a Tuesday. I'm just happy as hell to be here. That's it. That's all I can say. I'm just happy as hell to be here. You know where you can be happy? You can be happy at Road America. That's another place I can be happy. Wouldn't mind taking the motorcycle up there and just cruising around a little bit. Road America, they were racing last weekend. Friday, we're going to be there live, doing the show live from inside the media center, right there at the start-finish line. Can't wait for that. Love that broadcast each and every year. It's just peaceful. It's great. It's just, you're just sitting there watching the cars go by, and they're doing work on the track, and you're getting ready for the race day, which is coming up with Moto America and the Superbikes next weekend. And then you got the SCCA June Sprints. And then here comes IndyCar. Oh, my goodness. Season passes, corporate sponsorships. If you want to camp, do it. Call them 800-365-7223, 800-365-7223. But for all your ticketing information, all the things that are going on via Road America, and they've got so much, they've got so many new additions, so many cool things that are happening out there. Oh my goodness, go to roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
So sorry to interrupt. Here's Yelly going deep to make it 1-0 Brewers. Asserts himself into this series. His second home run in as many days.
Are you kidding me? Wow. 409 feet, 109 miles per hour off the bat. Doesn't matter if the wind's blowing in or out for that absolute rocket of a bomb right here by Christian Yelich. That's a hanging sweeper.
Good things tonight for sure. We swung the bat against a very good pitcher. We had a good approach, and we did some great things. I mean, Yelly hitting that first ball out of the park certainly makes everybody relax. When your leader's on it, then obviously other guys fall into place.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This felt good. Things fell into place last night. Brewers get the win. This portion of our program and a Brewers win last night brought to you by our buddy Dwayne, D-U-A-N-E-S, Dwayne'sCoveredAll.com. He's down in Alabama right now. He took a picture this morning doing a little walk on the boardwalk, I guess, down there by the ocean. So not a bad way to go, but rooting on the Brewers from down there in Alabama, on the Alabama coast. But if you're looking for a boat cover, you're looking for a bimini top, you're looking for upholstery to be redone on gym equipment, office furniture, whatever it happens to be, how about an awning out in front of your business? Whatever it is, he can do it, and he does it terrific. As a matter of fact, I had somebody just comment on my boat cover the other day that said, hey, I think your boat cover is probably worth more than your boat. And it might be true, because my boat is worth about $10,000. The boat cover and the mooring covers and the bimini top are probably more. It's fantastic. And I didn't pay that much, obviously, but just awesome work that he does. Go to Dwayne's, D-U-A-N-E-S, Dwayne'sCoveredAll.com. And it's amazing the work that he does when it comes to like pontoon boats and getting all the upholstery and everything redone, the before and after pictures. When you think this stuff is just crap and you got to throw it out, he can make it all look like brand new or just completely redo it to make the boat look like brand new. 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119. That is Dwayne's, Duanes. Dwayne's, coveritall.com. Again, 715-870-2119. Great night last night. This is from Merrill. Merrill says, great night last night down at Wrigley. I was in the crowd. I was one of the Brewers fans cheering on the crew. Took a little bit of grief from the Cubs fans, but all the Cubs fans seem to be tentative when it comes to the Milwaukee Brewers. Listening to your program yesterday and the guy that you had on talking about being nervous regarding this series. Everybody seems to be nervous in Chicago. Brewers fans were finally sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying it. Could you hear the fans last night? I thought it sounded pretty loud. That is from Merrill. Yes. When Yelly went yard, you could hear it. There more and more Brewers fans are starting to infiltrate Wrigley Field, and that's a great big hell yeah right there. I noticed that last night, Merrill. Yes, if you were one of the, loud and proud, that's fantastic. But it really did. It got a little loud down there last night in favor of the Brewers, and that was kind of nice to hear. They always show Brewers fans in every crowd. There's always a Brewers fan at every stadium somewhere, right? But it was good to hear last night that Brewers fans were pretty boisterous when it came to cheering for their team. It was awesome. It was awesome last night.
And certainly, you're going to hear more from the Brewers fans when they're up 8-0 and
yes.
Cubs fans are silent. So that's going to bleed through a little bit more.
Right.
The only time I really heard Cubs fans, they had a moment, was that in the fifth or the sixth when there were some runners on, and Drowan especially had to make that really big 3-2 pitch with one out to PCA, got the pop-up. So I heard that, and then I heard the Green Bay sucks chants that were going there for a little bit. That's about the only thing.
Do the Packers just live in their head or what? The Packers just live in their head. And that's it. They just live in their head. And that was the only thing White Sox and Cubs fans could agree on in that series down there at Craptastic Fake Comiskey, was the fact that they just chanted Green Bay sucks and PCA sucks. But, man, the Packers just live in their head. They just live in their head. I was loving it. It's kind of when you take the position of, I'll be the bad guy, and you love it. That's the way I felt last night listening to the Green Bay sucks chant. I was just smiling like, you're not hurting our feelings at all. We're living in your head, and it's great. And the only reason you're saying it is because you've taken an ass kicking for 30 years, and you got 2 out of 3 last year, and now you're sporting wood, thinking you're somebody. I will just wait and see what happens this season. That's all I have to say. I love it. I was, everything about last night made me feel good. Did you know, speaking of Chicago, did you know the owner, the original owner of the Billy Goat died? The Billy Goat pub?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I read that. That was sad because everybody grew up on that. You grew up on the skit that they did on Saturday Night Live in regards to the Billy Goat Diner down there. Everybody's been there. Have you been there?
I know.
Underneath, I can't remember what street it's underneath. Every time it's really near when I stay at the Sheridan Grand. It's only a couple of blocks away, so I always go there. You go there, you get your cheeseburger. That's what you do.
Oh, it's not in Wrigleyville. It's somewhere downtown.
Yeah, it's somewhere downtown. But the original Billy Goat, it's underneath one of the roads. I can't remember what it is. Somebody have to help me out. Somebody knows. But the original owner of the Billy Goat died. That was the only sad thing that I saw out of Chicago. Other than that, smiled my ass off. Smiled my ass off. Loved it. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. We'd love to hear from you. This one. This is Mark. Mark says, hey, guys, let's not take for granted that the Brewers get one game. There's plenty of season left to go. Mark, do not come in here with your wang out and try to pee on our parade. Don't do that. We're enjoying the game. Tonight might be a different story. You're 100% correct. But today, for 24 hours after that game ended, I'll take it. We all live a little larger. We all smile a little wider today.
I'll just say wins or losses. If I'm mad about a loss or I'm happy about a win, the most annoying person is, well, it's a long season.
Right.
It's like, well, yeah, but we're doing a sports talk show today about the game that was last night. And tomorrow we'll do the same. And then the next day. So if you're one of those people, well, it's a long season, well, then just read the newspaper every day and fine. Stay off Twitter then, or don't call sports radio because we're reacting to what's going on right now.
There's a time to say that. You know, it's kind of like when the Brewers were going through a little bit of a funk after they got off to the fast start. And you looked at it and went, yeah, it's a long season. Remember, things can happen. I'm not concerned. You know, people were jumping off the bandwagon saying, oh, my God, you know, there's problems here and Murph's doing this. And I'm like, yeah, long season. Just, you know, there's a level of patience in baseball. But when you have the buildup for a rival as you're approaching them in the standings. Now, remember this, and here's something to be said, though. The Brewers were 5.5 games back, 4 weeks ago? Look how long it's taken them to climb back into this. So, you know, we celebrate it. We appreciate where they're at. We understand the Brewers are trending in the right direction, and the Cubs right now are not. The Cubs got some injuries. The Brewers got guys coming back from injuries, all that kind of stuff. But I've always said that you never want to get too far back. It takes you so long to climb back from a deficit. And so the Brewers are now approaching that pinnacle, you know, so hopefully they can climb out of it and they can continue to move on. And, you know, because, look, you got to get at least 2 out of 3 from the Cubs because coming up this weekend, here come the Dodgers. And we know the Dodgers now during the regular season, the Brewers swept them last year. So the Dodgers not only got the revenge in the postseason, they're going to be coming in here loaded for bear, remembering what the Brewers did to them in humiliating fashion last year in the 6 games those two teams played. So it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. So, I'm fine, Mark. I'm smiling my ass off today. Even with the cheating Cubs trying to steal a strike last night, even with all of that, karma came back and took a giant chunk right out of their ass, and I loved it. I loved it. So there you go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We would love to hear from you. Let's see here. Darren in Green Bay. How about Game 7 overtime? Canadians win was epic. It was a good win last night. I paid attention to a little bit of it. I felt bad. Has anybody checked on Randy Hawk today in the office, Grant?
He popped in this morning because Evo texted him at like 6:30.
Oh,
it's funny, yeah. And I was like, hey, Randy, what happened?
Yeah, the bad call. Because once the puck is stopped between the pads of the goalie, you are not allowed to beat on the goalie with a stick. So I know Sabre fans were going crazy last night, and I did not realize that was a rule. I've always thought as long as he didn't have possession of the puck, you could still go after the puck. But the way it was explained was it was the right call. Because the puck had been stopped. It was between the pads and between the knees of the goalie. And to prevent injury, you can't jab your stick at the goalie once he's engulfed the puck. And that's what they did. They kept poking at it because he had kind of collapsed on it between his legs. And you can't beat on the goalie or poke at the goalie to try to pry the puck free. Once it's dead and the goalie has somewhat of a possession or a coverage thereof, you can't go after it. So I don't know why Sabre fans are just going crazy today like this was some just horrific call. I get it because the jubilation of a celebration and then the ultimate letdown of no, it's not allowed. You can get angry at that. There's an emotion there, especially in a Game 7, and I get it. But it was absolutely the right call. It was to the letter of the law. It was the right call last night. So it was a heartbreaker. Canadians win on Sabre ice last night, by the way. And they had the whole arena in Montreal filled with Canadian fans who were watching the game on their big screen and all came together. And then you just saw them erupt because the Canadians got the win last night and they move on. But heartbreaker for Buffalo. Buffalo is just a city of close but no cigar. Just you. And I was rooting for Buffalo. If Boston wasn't going to do it, I was rooting for Buffalo. But just couldn't get over the top. Canadians get the win last night in overtime.
And Western Conference Finals last night, 2 double overtime. It was one of the better sports nights in a while. Yeah. And I watched overtime of the hockey game, and I followed a little bit the basketball game, but watched second half of the fourth quarter and overtime. You can't watch everything all at once. One of the more robust sports nights of the year so far, like 3 great, for us Brewers fans, but the hockey and the basketball just outstanding. And I think Spurs Thunder is going to be knockdown drag out. Those two teams are They got a little bit of a mean streak too. I think that's kind of why I like Wemby. Like, he's talented. All these young, lottery picks are talented. He's kind of a son of a bitch, and I like it. I like watching him.
The fact that he had that pull-up three from just inside, probably about 5 steps from the half-court logo, I was like, no. Oh, my God, he hit it. I just like, wow, that's crazy. That guy's got an ability. And I know, look, he's the best thing since Giannis, because they basically blew their verbal wad all over Giannis when Giannis was in the league and winning championships. And now, it's Wemby and he's the newest thing. And then I'm sure there's going to be somebody coming into the league in a year or two that's going to be the best thing. But it just, man, he is a phenomenal player for his size. At what is he, 7'5", I think, for his size. And he's only going to get stronger. I mean, if you watch how Giannis was when he came into the league and now where he is at muscularity-wise, Wemby is going to, in the next 2 years, Wemby's probably going to put on another 15 to 20 pounds of just muscle. He is going to be, if he continues to have that touch from the outside, because he shoots like a 6'6" guard. And if he continues to have that touch from the outside, but still has the physicality and the presence on the inside with the size that he has, he's almost an unstoppable force. He's amazing, man. Just amazing. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Speaking of the NBA, Jim Owczarski is going to join us next. We'll talk with Jim about all the rumors and innuendo, speaking of Giannis, about everything that's going on out there. So we'll get into that discussion coming up here in just a few. Don't go anywhere. Our friends at Marquardt RV, we absolutely love our Forest River Coachman. That is the new 2026 big unit cruiser. It is a 37-foot beast in beauty, and it's all wrapped into one. Absolutely, positively love it. So thanks to our friends at Marquardt RV, but more so than anything, thanks to you stopping in, checking them out, and then kind of confirming back with me what you're learning about their service, because that's what they pride themselves on, is their service, about how good they can be, about how professional they can be, about how helpful they can be, and the relationship they can build with you. Anybody can sell you anything, but they really want to make sure that you get the most out of your dollar, out of your purchase, and you have a good knowledge and understanding of the product. And if there is, God forbid, if there is a problem, they're there to take care of it. That's what Marquardt RV does. A lot of them, they are like, hey, another unit out the door, and then they check off the list and they really don't want to hear from you anymore. Marquardt, they want to touch base. Hey, is it okay? You doing all right? Everything good? You enjoying it? Family, kids, everybody? Okay, there you go. That's what they do. 10 locations total, 8 of them in the state of Wisconsin. Go to Marquardt, MARKQUART, MarquardtRV.com. That is MarquardtRV.com. And make sure whatever you do, you stop in and tell them we sent you.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We get fined for all types of stuff now. You guys get fined a lot?
It depends on the coach. So Doc Rivers, he didn't find anybody. Guys were late all the time. Guys were, showing up to film whenever they wanted to show up. Guys were missing meetings. Like, it was one of the craziest things I personally ever experienced. We literally, if the plane took off at 2:00, we weren't leaving until 4:30. I'm being so serious, bro. It was crazy, dog. Guys were an hour late to the plane. It got to the point where I knew not to show up until like an hour after they said the plane was taking off. It was crazy.
So who's the teammate that's most likely to be late? Well, all of yours, obviously, because nobody gets fined.
Giannis is going to show up whenever he wants.
How about that? Giannis, he's going to be the guy that's going to be the team leader in the sense of not being a leader. How about that? All Nations Solar Electric, they bring you this portion of the Bill Michaels Show. And if you are looking for, say, a switch doesn't operate properly, or maybe a light isn't lighting up, or it's flickering or something like that, get a hold of Greg. He's the master electrician serving the Fox Valley and all of northeastern Wisconsin. And if you want to give him a call, give him a call. They do great work. And whether it's a house rewire, a switch that needs to be rewired, yeah, maybe you want to put in a generator. Something's gone out. I don't know what it is. There's all kinds of problems that can arise. 920-661-7577. Get a hold of Greg, the master electrician. 920-661-7577. Or if you're thinking about solar, they can do that as well. AllNationsSolarElectric.com. AllNationsSolarElectric.com. But just for your electrical needs, get a hold of Greg. He's the master dude over there. 920-661-7577. Good stuff. There you have it. All right, let's bring him in. He's the guy that's got all the information regarding all the rumors, all the innuendos, everything that's going on regarding the Milwaukee Bucks. Our buddy Jim Owczarski is joining us on the hotline. Jim, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, Bill. I'm good.
So let's start off with the Miles Turner trade rumors now that he's let the cat out of the bag, that Giannis is the largest culprit of not obeying the Doc Rivers policies.
Well, what's the Doc Rivers policy, Bill?
Well, this is true.
I mean,
this is true. Good point.
So let's just rewind it back for listeners who probably missed this. So right after Doc was fired / retired / quit, whatever you want to call it, that week, Bill, he went on Bill Simmons and admitted he didn't hold players accountable for whenever they arrived. And basically also admitted he was pretty much done once the season started. Like, he was already on the golf course. And so, look, I'm not saying players taking advantage of that is the right thing, right? Like, if you have a coach who's not going to set a standard, and allow the players to sort of self-police or show up on time on their own volition, and they don't, look, they're professionals. You would think, hey, Doc clearly thought this was a team that could handle that, and very clearly they couldn't. And then I don't know if he tried as the year went on to rein it back in, but at that point, Bill, you start losing the cats out of the bag. You would ask me a long, long time ago, did Doc ever lose the team? Did Doc lose the team? And I always struggled with that answer, because you kind of go with what you see, what you hear, but clearly, Bill, he never had the team in order to lose it. Right. And I think it starts with this type of thing.
Does this, because to me, with what Miles Turner had to say, it reflects more poorly on Giannis than it does on Doc. Would you agree?
Maybe. Look, Bill, we never heard any of this, meaning the best player on the team, the 2-time MVP, being late to things with Mike Budenholzer, right, and of that nature. And even in the last couple years before the season with Doc, you never heard, guys being late. If anything, it was sort of the opposite. You heard, these veteran guys, Chris, Brooke, Pat Connaughton, Bobby, like putting the work in and doing their thing. So I'm not excusing Giannis. If Miles says he's the guy who's late all the time, who am I to know? I don't fly on the team plane. I'm not on the team buses. But look, if he says he's late, then he's late. And does it look bad? Of course it looks bad, or sounds bad. But I just feel it's just another one of those things, Bill, when you win 32 games and your best player plays 36 and you're a bad squad. Like, this is just the stuff that comes out. This is stuff that happens.
So how do we then move forward and looking at this as, okay, if Giannis checked out, does that then reinforce the, hey, I want out of Milwaukee stuff? Or is it just he kind of realized this season was going south, the change was made, Tyler Jenkins is, all over it, he wants to keep Giannis? Or do we just look at all these different rumors that seem to make things relatively inevitable that there's going to be some trade deal done? I guess it's more pointing towards Giannis not being here than is being here, but how do you take all of that?
Yeah, I think it's two different things. I think if Miles is correct, that Giannis was late all the time to everything. And I'm not entirely sure that's what he meant. But yeah, I would say that was more him being checked out on the head coach, Bill. I mean, Giannis was on the record several times this year talking about needing more accountability, needing more structure from the coaching staff. He said this in several post games this year. And I think that's, and when I talked to him about Taylor being hired, couldn't have been more effusive. Loved the culture that was established in Memphis. Obviously, Taylor Jenkins was on Mike Budenholzer's first staff in Milwaukee. So I think this Giannis issue had more to do with Doc. I don't think that's I'm done with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, look, John Horst, well, first of all, ownership and John Horst have said, they're willing to take calls on Giannis, Bill. And so I don't think this has to do with that. I think it's ownership still trying to decide, what do we want to do with this franchise over the next 5 years? Is it with Giannis or is it not? And I still think they're in that decision-making process.
I would agree with you. I guess where there's smoke, maybe there's a little bit of fire. And I think teams would be stupid that have assets not to call to say, hey, would Giannis become available? Because this is really kind of it. I mean, if he signs the Supermax here, his values for the next 2 years is going to be high. And then after that, you would assume it's going to begin to decline because of his age and probably the wear and tear on his body. So this is kind of it for any team to grab that brass ring and go after Giannis. What about the rest of the team? I mean, if they say the Miles Turner experiment didn't work and they're going to trade him away and they may move other pieces, they've got some additional things to spend, they've got a draft choice. What about the remake of this team in a different vision? How drastically different will it look coming onto the hardwood next year?
Yeah, that's question 1B after the Giannis answer, right,
Yeah.
Bill? I mean, it's going to look different even if they decide, let's do this. Giannis is still a top 5 player. We think he's going to be that. Let's retool. You're still probably trading Kyle Kuzma and or Bobby Portis. You might move off this 10 pick. Just for reference, Bill, the number 10 pick last year was used in the deal to get Kevin Durant. Now, look, Houston traded better players in Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green than the Bucks have, but you can get a really good player if you use the 10 pick and that sort of deal. Now, if they decide to move on from Giannis, Bill, I mean, John Horst would not want to call it a teardown, but what's the purpose of having 30-year-old Miles Turner? What's the purpose of having 31-year-old Bobby Portis? What's the purpose of having 31-year-old Kyle Kuzma? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yes, you still have to field the team. Yes, the Bucks would want to win 41 to 44 games and make the playoffs. But I think if you're trading Giannis, you might as well just rebuild and retool around maybe the best player you're getting back for him. Miles probably fits. Let's just throw him out there, Bill. Paolo Banchero, he can't shoot. Having a stretch 5 works with Paolo Banchero. If you trade for Jalen Johnson in Atlanta, Jalen also could use a stretch 5. So Miles probably has more value with the team going forward with or without Giannis, Bill, at least for another year. But that said, he was on a team that was 3/4 away from winning the finals last year, Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. He still is going to have a lot of value as a winning player, even if his podcast might open some doors or make maybe coaches say, what might this guy say? But he'd probably have the most trade value of any veteran outside of Giannis, Bill. So, yeah, I think that's the 1B. Where's John Horst and ownership going with their best player? And I think all those other answers follow after that.
I've seen a couple of deals that have been kind of floated out there. One of them, if OKC, if they lose, they're talking about, well, maybe they move Holmgren for Giannis. Now, to me, Holmgren for Giannis, I don't think I'd do that straight up. I mean, obviously, there's going to be more assets involved in that. And then I see the Tyler Hero package with numerous draft picks and players coming from Miami, which basically guts their team and puts Giannis on a team kind of in exile down in Miami. I don't know what benefit there is to Giannis if he gets traded. Certainly, I can see it for the Bucks. But if Giannis gets traded and they gut a team to do it, then he's going from the frying pan into the fire where he doesn't have a legitimate shot of winning a championship in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that's part of this for him, Bill. Look, even if he looks at this roster for next year and John Horst can't quite get it to, find, first of all, there's no guarantee. But, this is for sure an Eastern Conference favorite. The issue is, if they trade him for anybody, Bill, it's you're pretty much decimating that team for another year anyway. Now, you mentioned Miami. I don't know why, again, if you're the Bucks, why you want to trade Giannis to the East. Because if you're already going to be rebuilding and trying to reset as a middle-tier playoff team, do you really want to face Giannis in the playoffs all these years? Probably not. Now, Oklahoma City, Bill, maybe John Horst has his fingers crossed. Maybe the Thunder, who won 62 games, get beaten because they have no answer for Victor Wembanyama. Now, Sam Presti down there doesn't make rash moves, doesn't do a lot of dumb things. But if they have no answer for Vic, Giannis is the answer, Bill. Like, for the next 3 years, Giannis is the only player in the league that can put Victor in the basket. We've seen it. Vic has on the defensive end. And Giannis can actually defend him in the post. Now, at 31, 32, can he go out to 30 feet? No. So I would say, I guess, Bill, John Horst's dream, his dream, would be Jalen Williams, maybe A.J. Mitchell, Kason Wallace, some of those really good young guys as salary filler, and then, some of those future Oklahoma City picks. So, but Sam Presti, would he do that 1 year after winning a title, after winning 62 games? Hard to say.
Jim, great stuff as always, pal. We appreciate it. And as things continue to wind down, we will talk again real soon, okay?
Yep. Talk to you soon, Bill.
Appreciate it, bud. There you go. That's our buddy Jim Owczarski. We're going to step out, take a quick break. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show to get to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Our good friends at J&L Tire and Service Center. Oh,
Yeah.
I got a really nice note. There was a truck driver. He drove for somebody other than Schneider, but he was on 94 heading towards Milwaukee and ended up having a blowout on one of the wheels, on one of the tires, and stopped in. He said it was about an hour's worth of a wait, but they squeezed him in. They were able to take it off the trailer right there and replace the tire, get him back on the road, and he really didn't miss his delivery time and was still able to get home at night, and he only missed about an hour of his day. He said it was fantastic, and he said the fact that they got him in and they treated him really, really well. I mean, if you're an over-the-road driver, that's one thing. That's your life, man. Now, the rest of us, we're just trying to get from point A to point B and do it without getting run over by somebody in a high-speed chase. But for you that keep America moving, man, that is fantastic. And that's what J&L Tire is all about. It's about the service. Anybody can sell you tires and do all kinds of other stuff, but they treat you right. They not only have the facilities for both 18-wheelers and the minivans, but they do it with a heart and compassion, and they do it also with a warranty, and they also give back to the community. All the reasons you want to work with a great company like J&L Tire and Service Center. So it doesn't matter if you're an 18-wheeler or if you're mom in a minivan, or dad in a minivan for that matter. Whatever it is, J&L Tire and Service Center right there, just above the Johnson Creek exit off of 94. You can see it from the road, see it from the highway. And then there's one on Boulder Road in Watertown, Wisconsin. They say thank you again for voting them the best tire dealer out there. That is jnltire.com. That is jnltire.com. That fast. Bang! We got an hour down. We got 3 more yet to go. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk with our buddy, Chuck Freimund's going to be here. Brewers got a win last night, a nice win last night, a good win last night, a feel-good win last night. I love it that the meter's moving right here behind me. 49.35, trying to get this thing to 5,000 by the end of the week. Please, if you haven't followed us on Instagram already, right there, baby, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We appreciate that. You can watch us over there as well. Thanks to everybody for chiming in. Thanks to all of our friends in the cheap seats. That's for damn sure. Love our cheap seats, people. Where's our cheap seat? I'll do that when we come back. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more coming up right after this. Stay tuned.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, in their first meeting against the Chicago Cubs down at Wrigley, Jake Bauers would homer and drive in 4 runs. Christian Illich would go deep for his second straight day, and Andrew Vaughn had 2 hits and scored twice as the Brewers would use 13 hits to beat the Cubs 9-3 at Wrigley. Manager Pat Murphy was pleased with everyone's contributions.
Bauers was incredible again. He's been swinging the bat incredibly good, and Churio and Vaughn and Frulick gets the big hit there. Joey Ortiz had a great game.
Starting pitcher Brandon Sprout surrendered 3 runs, 3 hits, and 4 2/3 innings of work, while Shane Drowan would play Sprout in the 5th and pitch 4 1/3 innings of 4-hit ball for the win. More from manager Pat Murphy.
But that was the plan going in. We know Sprout at 75, 80 pitches. That's kind of a mark that he's shown that's really kind of where he's at. And then to have Drone come in, and he's very capable of going 60, 70 himself. So we felt very comfortable.
Up next, Jacob Mizorowski will take the mound opposite of the Cubs' Ben Brown. First pitch tonight from Wrigley will be at 6:40.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Nearly 10 NFL teams are getting OTAs underway this week. The Packers, though, will have to wait another week before they get into action. Instead, OTAs will be next week in Green Bay. They are voluntary for players, though many have incentives in their contracts to attend. The only thing mandatory is minicamp next month. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Ladies and gentlemen, how we looking? Brewers fans, how we looking? How we looking? Yeah. 9-3. The power surge went on last night. The Brewers beat the hell out of the Cubs. Cubs tried to cheat them out of a strike last night. That fake-ass scoreboard broken down crap. Karma came back like a rabid pit bull. Took a giant chunk out of their Cubby ass. It's one win. I get it. It's one win. But it was glorious last night. Brewers got the win. They're only a half game back. Cardinals didn't play. They're a game back. Brewers have the opportunity to take over the National League Central lead tonight with the Miz on the mound. Last time, Owczarski threw a gem of a game only to lose. Remember, because he came out and things were well in hand, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off via the bullpen. So that's when Uribe gave up the 3-run shot, and the Brewers took the loss. But nevertheless, Miz is on the hill tonight. Imanaga, he looked perplexed last night. I loved it. He was just kind of looking around like, I'm really pretty good. You can believe me. I know I'm pretty good, right? I think I'm good. Then last night, the Packers Green Bay sucks chant was going on. That's okay. We are living in your head in every possible way, being the stepchild of what you consider to believe the smaller city, the dumpster that is, except for when you buy property here because you love the Northwoods, and we can't wait to get you the hell out of here. And don't bring your politics here. That's for damn sure. We just love it. Love the fact that the Brewers got the win last night over the Chicago Cubs. Got some NFL news and notes. Got coming up here in about 15 minutes. Our buddy Chuck Freeman's going to be here from the Locked On Brewers podcast. You want to chime in? Please feel free. Do it. 877-867-1670. You can text us 608-321-1670. We are on YouTube. You can watch us there every day for free if you choose to do so. Or just rewatch us. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, Michaels. We're on Twitter, both Grant and I. Grant is at Wisco Grant, WISCO at Wisco Grant. Myself, I'm at Bill_Michaels, Bill_Michaels, if you follow along on Twitter. On the app, our app, which is Take Us Anywhere and Everywhere, as I mentioned yesterday, our buddy Dwayne's down in the Gulf Shores, down in Alabama. Down there listening to the program, walking the beach today. Wisco Sports Zone. 3 words, put them all together. Wisco Sports Zone. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website simply thebillmichaels.com. We are on all the platforms, social media-wise. We are trying to grow our Instagram, and I see more and more people are following. And you could hear it behind me just a minute ago. The meter is moving. Follow us on Instagram, please. The Bill Michaels Show. You can follow the same on Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook on TikTok as well. We're on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app. And if you want to catch the show on TV in Milwaukee, it's 8 o'clock Central Time, Saturday night. 8 o'clock Central Time, Saturday night. That is My 24 TV in Milwaukee. My 24 TV in Milwaukee. So there you go. It's a great way to pay attention to the program. Hell yeah. You know what? I want to get this email in real quick. Where's the Scott sent me this. This was awesome. Scott says, "Hey, Bill, what a great win for the Crew last night. Despite the early morning storms we had here in Chicago, it ended up being a beautiful night at the ballpark. Great weather, lots of hits, lots of actions. Got to see some home runs, and most importantly, a decisive Brewers win." Now, here's the best part. You're right. A Green Bay sucks chant did break out at one point in the crowd. So I stood up and started waving around the Packers hat that I was wearing to represent the Green Bay Packers. Cheers to another Brewers win. That's from Scott in Chicago. Scott, now that's you the man right there. I don't care who you are. I'll pour you one. And a little applause. There you go. That's great. Love that. Good stuff. Way to represent down there, Scott. You the man. I saw that. Grant, did you see Kate was down there last night?
Yeah, I was talking to Ebo about this morning. We were wondering if she still works here. We haven't seen her in a bit. And
I know.
She pops up on Snapchat, doing shots and taking the red line or whatever. I don't know what she was doing down there. I think they were just down in the sports book by Wrigley.
She was just kind of hanging out down there last night. It's like, okay, I can see it. But yeah, she was just chilling like a villain last night down there. So good for her. Got to see a win last night. Now, she's got to go back. As long as they're winning, you got to keep going.
I hope she didn't even come back to Wisconsin yet.
Right? I hope she's down there again tonight. That'd be fantastic. Because she's all over. She was at the Luke Combs concert this past weekend, and then drove from there back to home, I guess, and then from there down to Chicago, and was at Wrigley last night. She's like the wind, man. She's everywhere. So good stuff for her. This is from Jacob. Jacob says, hey, Unit, just followed you on Instagram. I love the fact that I can watch it there as well. Did you know that? I do know that. As a matter of fact, we reconfigured our Instagram so it comes up easier to read and to watch when you follow us like on your phone on Instagram. So, yes, we did know that. So we did. Thanks to Sherry Schneider for following us on Instagram. Maggie Bringa. Also Ram40. Jim Stapleton 17, Brett Paplum, everybody over there on Instagram. Thank you for following us there. And by the way, and I didn't do this in the first hour, and shame on me. I'm sorry because I did not give a shout out to everybody that follows us, watching us each and every day in the cheap seats.
There's nothing like the view from the cheap
Our cheap seats, we don't know where we'd be without you. You kind of keep our life's blood pumping. So thanks to everybody in the cheap seats. You know who you are. You're here religiously every day. Thank you so much. And if we don't see your name, all of a sudden we start to worry about you a little bit. So we want to make sure we say hi to you there. This one's from Max. Max says, hey, there's a couple of guys down in the Brewers minor league system, Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt, and these guys are having seasons. At what point would you bring them up? Not until you have to. Not until you have to. Right now, who are you going to replace? And I get it. I mean, the first couple of thoughts are, look, if you're bringing up Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt, probably like Rengifo and Ortiz, but you don't mess with what's working, if that makes sense. You just don't do it. And by the way, Rengifo, you're not going to send him down because he doesn't have options available. So that would be out of the question anyway. But you would have to make room. And yeah, I mean, who would you send down? Who would you send down right now? I'm just trying to look through this. You're not going to send down Rengifo. You're not going to send down Hamilton. Rengifo, you can't. You'd lose him. Hamilton has one option available. Joey Ortiz has actually two options available. If you wanted to send him down, I guess you could. You don't want to send down Blake Perkins because he's your true outfielder, your defensive outfielder, even though you still have, a guy like Christian Yelich who could play the outfield in a pinch if he needed to. But right now, you just don't need to. You just don't need to. So I get it. They're having, as a matter of fact, I think it was, let me find it. I think Adam McCalvey wrote a piece. Going into Monday's showdown at Wrigley Field, no team in the National League was getting less offensively from the left side of the infield this season. The Brewers were the only National League club without a single home run from a third baseman. They're one of two NL teams, along with the Cardinals, with only one home run from a shortstop. The combined positions and no other NL team has a lower OPS from the left side of the infield than the Brewers do, which is a 565 OPS. Only Boston ranks lower. Meanwhile, you've got Jet Williams, the Brewers' number 3 overall pick, and Cooper Pratt, the number 4 overall in the system, have been on fire at AAA. The organization's got a lot of riding on both of those players after dealing away the ace pitcher Freddie Peralta in the January trade that landed Williams from the Mets and spending more than $50 million to lock up Pratt with a long-term extension in April, even though he's yet to step a foot in the big league fields. Pratt plays major league caliber defense at shortstop, which is critical because the incumbent, which is Joey Ortiz, has been fantastic over there. We know defensively he's just stellar. Williams can play second, third, short, and the outfield. And he's been playing mostly third base this season at AAA. He started playing the position really well, according to Pat Murphy, who's kind of kept his eye on him. But where this is the tipping point between exercising patience with the players you know and taking a chance on the players you don't know, when does the team for sure know that a prospect is ready And those are some of the questions. Now, Pat Murphy said there's no real answer to that. It's a combination of so many things. The needs of the major league club. I used to think this. I used to think that it's to the point where a player is just about absolutely ticked. And he's like, well, what else do I have to do to show up? This is ridiculous. And when he gets to that point, that's when he's ready. And Murph said, that's what I used to think. But now I've seen so many young guys come up and fit in pretty well and do so well. So for me, there's really no right answer to all of this. It's just when they're ready and the opportunity presents itself, that's when you bring them up. So my question is, and I get what you're saying, but at what point do you then bring them up? And at what point do you kind of mess with what's going on here? And I don't think you just say, oh, by the way, Williams and Pratt, here we go. And, you know, Rengifo and Ortiz, talk to you later. I don't think you do that. And we've seen chemistry get screwed up on a team before. They're going to get their opportunity. Who knows? Maybe both of those guys, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, have some type of an injury that takes them out of the lineup. And I'll tell you this, Ortiz knows if he goes down with some type of an injury, he may never get back. He may become expendable at that point, especially if Cooper Pratt comes up and just starts to take off the way he's done down in AAA. So he's kind of like looking over his shoulder like Brett Favre right now going, I can't go down with an injury. I'm going to lose my job. Even though Brett Favre's numbers and record was far better than what Luis Ortiz's. But you get what I'm saying. So anyway.
Joey Ortiz changed his batting stance about 2 weeks ago.
He changed his batting stance when he shaved his beard.
Yeah, right. Like he's changed his stance quite a bit the last 3 years. He changed his stance about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about that. He's still not. He's not swinging and missing. So his whiff numbers are really good. His strikeout and walk numbers are really good. The contact with the balls in the zone is good. So the underlying stuff, the things that the Brewers care about, which I think the number one thing they care about organizationally is swing decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you swinging at the right pitches and are you not striking out?
Right.
Joey Ortiz the last 2 weeks has been pretty good at that. I'm interested to see how the next week or so goes for him. He's going to see the Dodgers this weekend, which would be brutal. But I'm not saying he's found something, but could he level out and be a solid enough 9-hitter with the defense that he plays? Because I think that's more than good enough for the Brewers. But to your point, and Freems could probably talk about this too, Pratt and Williams are both getting better. You know, every 2 weeks we check in and the numbers are progressing and getting better. So I don't think the Brewers are in a rush with those guys, but they definitely make it a more interesting situation than it would have been
completely
a month ago when they were just kind of getting things figured out at AAA.
I think we were all just kind of waiting to see what they would do at AAA. And now we're like, damn.
They're settling in.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball a little bit harder.
These guys are playing pretty well. And again, I don't sit here and pay attention to AAA on a nightly basis, but when you just go back and you get a little time, you know, you're sitting in bed and you scroll a little bit, and I go to the Nashville Sound site, and, you know, you're kind of like looking and you're like, oh, crap, this is pretty good. Oh, man, another 2-hit game. Oh, yeah. So you start to go, oh, well, maybe there is a coming time, an approaching time. And you know, like I said, it's a long season. Usually the opportunities present themselves. You don't have to force it and mess with the chemistry. You know, and Come Over Crusher says, I can't see the mess with the chemistry concept as the reason not to bring up your best minor leaguers. Really? Go back to when they traded Hader. Hader was not having a great season. He was struggling a little bit, and then he traded him away. The first person was the veteran that said, it screwed up our chemistry. That was Brandon Woodruff. The first person that said it screwed up our chemistry. It took life out of our clubhouse. It took life. Now, granted, it was a different scenario because they were trading away Hader for money while they were still trying to add pieces. Remember, they were in the Juan Soto deal and all that garbage that Mark Antanasi was trying to spew to us to where we would like be stupid enough to believe it. But no. There's such a thing as chemistry. And if you've never been in a locker room, you don't get it. Guys will tell you all the time. Players will tell you all the time. Even your worst guy you're rooting for. That's your guy. You know, it's kind of like the ugly dog at the firehouse. You keep him around because you just love that guy and how hard he tries, and he's there, and he's just that guy you love to have around. You don't mess with it. You don't mess with it. And again, Ortiz is terrible on offense, but 2 or 3 times last night I thought to myself, he just made a play that's going to be insignificant because it's so routine, but he stopped an inning. Look at the ball also last night that Churio had in left field. It was a base hit, and he got it in the corner, a throw to second, and it held him to a long single. Had that been a double, that run would have ended up scoring on the next two at bats. It's just the little things that you don't pay attention to for defense that end up. We always say their defense. How many runs does their defense prevent? And it's little things like that I make a note of, and I go, okay, watch that. And then sure enough, they didn't get the extra base, so therefore that next base hit didn't bring a run in. Instead, you got him at first and third. You got into a ground into a double play. You're out of the inning instead of taking you out of that particular situation. Anyway, I've gone far too long. We'll talk with Chuck Freimund about this. We'll get his opinion on this because he's in the clubhouse every day. Clemens is in the clubhouse every day. They talk about this all the time. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to. We'll talk with our buddy Chuck Freimund for not one, but two segments upcoming. Yeah, two segments coming up on the Bill Michaels Show. We want to talk a little bit more about this Brewers victory last night and just revel in it a little bit. This portion of our program is brought to you by our friends at Potawatomi. Potawatomi, they have got, first of all, a lot of terrific stuff going on, which we all know, which is absolutely positively fantastic. They have got so much happening with the tic-tac home run game all the way through into June. Tic-tac home run, and how this works, by the way, you earn drawing entries. You play with your Potawatomi rewards card, okay? All the way through the end of May. One entry for every 100 tier of credits earned. And you keep getting entries, and you can win money. You can win up to $3,000. You can get $750 in rewards play, and all that at this entertainment mecca that has the sports book, which is fantastic. They've got entertainment, music, and bands cranking it upstairs in the Rock and Brews. They got, like on Thursday nights, that prime rib special they have at Dream Dance Steakhouse. Oh, it is so good. So good. They've got all the street cars, the food trucks that are out there. They got the 360 bar, not to mention all the gaming. So much good stuff going on at Potawatomi. I'm telling you right now. And we're going to let you know here in the coming probably week when we're going to make our Carter Potawatomi appearance for the Green and Gold postgame show coming up this year. So go to Potawatomi.com for all the information, including Milwaukee and Carter. Potawatomi.com. That is Potawatomi.com. Get your game on and enjoy yourself. Chuck Freimund coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Hey, better. Swing into Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee for the $300,000 Big League Series. Just play with your rewards card over 3 months to earn entries. Here's the lineup. Leading off April, on deck May, in the whole June. All monthly entries you earn will roll into drawings on Friday, June 26th, where you could win cash, free play, or one of 3 new Toyota vehicles. It's the $300,000 Big League Series, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hey Chuck, what type of loans do you offer at Dollar Loan Center?
We offer no collateral, signature loans up to $5,000, and the process normally takes less than an hour. We do this at all our locations, or our customers can complete the entire loan process at don'tbebroke.com to save even more time. And when their loan is approved, their choice or give them cash.
Up to $5,000 cash in minutes? I'm in.
It's free to apply, and new customers get the first week's interest on us. And we charge by the day so they can pay off quickly to save a lot of money or keep the money for up to a year.
DLC loves Wisconsin and lends up to $5,000. We're open on Memorial Day, so stop by our locations to meet our real friendly staff. You can also apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed and regulated by the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. Subject to approval, limitations may apply. See website for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back in. It was one hell of a night last night. Brewers getting a win. Hey, I want to tell you real quick that at Smoke on the Water, BBQ Okachi, they got a hell of an event coming up, in case you did not know. Coming up on Thursday, this Thursday, they have got Thursday, May 21st, the Grave Digger himself, Gilbert Brown, is going to be there. And the reason being is because he's got the new J. Henry Grave Digger bourbon. They've got a big bourbon event going on. They've got 60 people already signed up. They've got room for 10 more. Your ticket includes a guided tasting experience for you guests. And it's, if you're a Packers fan or a bourbon lover or both, you got to get there. That's our friends at Smoke on the Water BBQ Okachi. Smoke on the Water BBQ Okachi. Go there on social media and make yourself a reservation, or just give Joe and Ellen a call out there at Smoke on the Water Okachi Lake and get one of the 10 experiences that are left. So you get the full experience, includes the tasting one bottle of the Grave Digger bourbon, the Bourbon Club member, all that kind of good stuff. And then just the tasting only is like $20. So it's like $59 for one, tasting only for another. And then, like I said, the Grave Digger Old Fashioned, the 93 Manhattan, the Frozen Tundra Sour, the Green and Gold Rush. They've got so many different drinks out there, all for bourbon lovers and Packers fans. Coming up Thursday night, barbecue, BBQ Okachi, Smoke on the Water. It's a great place to go. Smoke on the Water right there, and it's right there on the lake. Can't beat that. All right, let's do this because it was a banner night last night. I don't care who you are. It was a fun time to see the Brewers get themselves a win in the fashion that they did. Let's bring him in, our buddy Chuck Freimund. Chucker, how you doing, buddy? You got to be giddy.
Michael, what is more fun, Michaels? Gloating in his victory or seeing the Cubs fans just in their deepest sorrow right now and wondering and seeing their lead in the division when it looked like they were running away with things? Just, well, one more game and the Brewers be in first place.
Yeah, it was so good on so many levels. And then to top it off, all they had left at the end of the night was the Green Bay sucks chant, of which we just live in their heads. So I was smiling about that as well. It was fantastic. It was an awesome win last night. Now they got to face the Miz tonight.
Yeah, Brown pitches for the Cubs. Ben Brown, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
he pitched a no-hitter through 7 innings back in 2024. May of 2024. He's good. They took one of those deals where Craig took him out pitching a no-hitter after 7 innings. I'm always fascinated when managers are able to do that. If I was a pitcher. I don't care if I have 150 pitches going on, man. I want to stay out there and finish in that game. But Brown had a no-hitter, and then, of course, it was broken up against the Cubs bullpen the next inning. But Miz is just had been amazing.
Yeah.
When you look at the best pitchers, when you line up all the best pitchers in baseball and the numbers, Miz is right there.
Mm-hmm.
He is right there.
He has been fantastic.
Any doubt about whether or not he could carry that load as a top of the rotation guy, I think that has pretty much been answered here in the last several weeks.
I saw, and we just had a question about it too from a listener, but I saw that Adam McCalvey did a piece. Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt, they're lighting it up. And the question is, with the left side of the infield just really not producing offensively, at what point do you bring them up? And I get it. There's this need. You kind of look at it in that particular sense of saying, hey, these guys deserve an opportunity. Two things, though. One, they got to get consistent at bats. You can't bring them up and have them play one day and not the next. You got to make sure that they're playing. And then the second thing is, you don't, because people talk about, well, you don't screw chemistry. No, there's something to be said about chemistry. Brandon Woodruff has talked about it numerous times, about there's a chemistry in a clubhouse. You don't mess with it when things are going really well. Opportunities will present themselves. I'm kind of that believer. I don't think you have to force Cooper Pratt or Jet Williams into this clubhouse just yet. Do you?
Boy, Bill, you've been listening to Locked On Brewers lately, because that's exactly what I've been talking about.
Boom!
That's exactly.
Boom! No doubt. Boom. That's it.
Bill, no, but you're right. They're not going to bring those two guys up unless they can play every day. And they're going to give Ortiz at shortstop every opportunity to lose that job. And I know he's had a long time. He's had a few years now, but he's starting to turn it around a little bit. The Brewers are so enamored with Ortiz defensively at shortstop that, man, you can't send him down to AAA, can you? With that type of defensive ability?
No.
If anything, they'd keep him on the roster maybe as a defensive play, one of the like they do with Perkins once in a while. A spot start, put him at defensively in the late innings over at shortstop because he's amazing. Now, we'll see how Ortiz is would accept a role like that. He'd have no choice. But Murph made this announcement the other night. He said this, and he's right. He said, I like both of those guys. I like both Jet and I like Pratt, but the bottom line is there's a big jump between AAA and Major League pitching. Now, that goes for everybody, but I think he's just saying that so he can buy some more time with Ortiz at shortstop because there's such an intrigue there. But eventually, in the numbers game, when you got those two, you got Williams, you got Pratt, you got Ortiz, and of course, you got the number one prospect in baseball, Madej, down at AA, who's being roadblocked at AAA by those two. What can you do? There's a numbers game. Someone will get weeded out somewhere down the line.
We know that Matt Arnold was in Nashville to see both guys. He went down there just to kind of see what's going on. And both guys have an OPS over 1. Both guys are hitting over 300. Both guys have 4 home runs. They're playing really solid defense. But again, the Brewers are winning right now. And, like you mentioned, Ortiz is starting to come on a little bit. He did this last year where it was kind of the middle of June, beginning of June. He started to go on a little bit of an offensive creep up when it came to batting average and getting a few key hits before ultimately after the All-Star break, he just went back into the tank. So I think, you milk this for what you can right now. You're not losing baseball games because of them right now. You continue to try to do everything you can, keep your chemistry. And then if it's needed, or God forbid a guy go down with an injury or something, then they're there and the opportunity presents itself. But right now, as tempting as it is, it's kind of like you want to take the Corvette out of the garage right now and run it around just because summer's here and take the top off, but you still got a chance for pop-up showers. You just don't do that yet. That's kind of where I'm at with Cooper Pratt and Jet Williams. Not to say they're not going to be here, because I think they're going to both be here before the season's over. But I just don't think I'm doing it today.
Yeah, because the Corvette, you're not going to be able to use it every day just yet because you got so many rainy days. And same thing with those two. If you brought one of them up here, are they going to play? They're not going to bring either one up unless they're going to play every day, just like Churio. Churio was not going to be on this roster a few years ago, Bill, unless they saw, hey, he's going to be in our everyday lineup. That is their MO. There's a few other front office guys who've said that before in the past, that the prospects who are at the tippy top of their organization, those guys aren't coming up unless they're playing every day.
Right.
And that's what's going to have to happen. There's got to be a spot. They're not platooning. They're not going to be a pinch hitter off the bench or whatever. They got to play every day.
Bowers has been a beast. Dude is raking right now, man.
Oh, yeah. He's last 9 games, he's hitting close to 500.
Yeah.
500. Hit that big 3-run blast last night. And the good thing about him, Bowers, I mean, here's a guy the Brewers keep on. They keep trying to get rid of him, but he keeps coming back. 2 years ago, they were done with him. They signed him to a minor league contract. 3 years ago, he made the team. So he keeps coming back, and now they realize he's valuable. And I think Murph likes him because you can play him in left field if you want, like last night. You can play him over at first base if you want. Might be a guy who's just really coming into his own. I get DMs, I get messages on Twitter, people adding me at all, saying, "Hey, how come Bowers isn't in this lineup tonight, even against left-handers?" People want Bowers in the lineup because he's been that good this season. He really has. He's just been, and especially as of late, as I told you, he's hitting 450, 500 so far in that neighborhood in the last 9 games.
So let's go back. Well, you know what? Let's do this. You're going to do 2 segments with us, so let's hang on. We're at the bottom of the hour break. Let's do this. Chuck Freimund talking to us. We're going to talk a little bit more with him about this Brewers team. They get a nice win last night. They knock off the Chicago Cubs. Only a half game behind the Cubs right now in the standings. This portion of our program brought to you by our friends at Skipper Buds. Boat sales, service, and storage. Now is the time. If you're just like myself, get the boat ready. It's going to be probably out of storage and all ready and set. Just turn the key and you're ready to go. Probably later this week. If not, it'll be next week for sure. But not that I want to get on the water this weekend. But I can't wait. And Skipper Buds, they have boats right now. They've got some pontoons, new more than anything, but they've got new boats, used boats, fishing boats, cruisers, you name it. They've got it. That's our friends at Skipper Buds. Get a hold of Todd out there. He's the GM and the guy that can make the deals. Call him direct, 262-544-1200, 262-544-1200. Ask for Todd. Tell him we sent you. Again, 262-544-1200. Look through some inventory, make a couple of ideas, couple of offers, see what they can do for you. That is boat sales, service, and storage. Our friends at Skipper Buds in Pewaukee, 262-544-1200. More Brewers chatter right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Truck drivers looking for a driving job that delivers the reliability you need? For 35 years, Schneider's Intermodal driving jobs have given drivers like you the stability they deserve. Schneider's Intermodal drivers enjoy drop and hook freight, competitive pay, and well-maintained company-owned containers and chassis. Plus, drivers enjoy frequent time at home, typically daily or multiple times per week. If Intermodal isn't the right fit for you, Schneider also has dedicated tanker and van truckload jobs. Find your Intermodal driving job at schneiderjobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back in. Bill Michaels Show. This portion of it brought to you by MIBA, M-I-B-A. MIBA Industrial Bearings, stronger together. If you're looking for a job, whether it's here or across the country, they're hiring. They're growing by leaps and bounds. Get a hold of them on Indeed by searching MIBA, M-I-B-A Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin, 262-337-2210. They've got jobs. They've got 401k. They've got great retirement benefits, 262-337-2210. That is MIBA, M-I-B-A, MIBA Industrial Bearings, stronger together. Joining us on the hotline, our guy, Chuck Freimund from the Locked On Brewers podcast. And I'll tell you this, Chuck, last night, I thought it was typical Cubs when all of a sudden a pitch that would have gone in the Brewers' favor did not because they had an equipment malfunction on the scoreboard. How many times do the Cubs have to screw the Brewers when they're there? I mean, come on.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah,
man.
all the way back to that phony rain delay a few years ago.
Right?
And
the rain that didn't. Remember
yeah.
that? It didn't rain, and they called the game because of rain.
It was a Saturday afternoon. I remember that well. And there were people who were going down to the game from Milwaukee, and it's difficult. Do you realize, though, going to a game, I mean, Cub fans got it so easy coming up to Milwaukee. That's an easy drive.
Right.
Man, getting down to Wrigley Field is next to impossible.
It's terrible.
I've been trying to get down there. Like, I was thinking, go down there. It's Wednesday night or even tonight to see the Miz play. And it's like, man, you don't want to battle all that traffic. It's just brutal down there.
Yep. I wouldn't. I've been to Wrigley a couple of times. I'm not a fan, but It's historic. I've been there. I can say I've done that. I just don't go to a whole lot of games at Wrigley. I enjoy watching those games at home. And so anyway, but it seems like every time the Brewers go there, something controversial happens and it always favors the Cubs.
Yeah, it does. And the Brewers sometimes overcome those things.
Mm-hmm.
You remember they lost both games last year in the playoffs at Wrigley. So the Brewers have actually played well there. And, I just think the fact that they won last night to win the first game of the series and set the tone the way they did. I'm not saying, now everything else is gravy. It's not. You still got to win these next. I mean, it'd be great to win these next two, but if you could win at least one of these next two and take another series, that's what the Brewers have been doing, Bill. Look at each one of these series, even against Minnesota. They won the first two games, dropped the game on Sunday. You wanted to sweep. You got the first two at least. And this one, too. If you could keep taking 2 or 3 from every series, that's a lot.
Oh, it's huge.
But winning at that pace, man, you're going to put yourself in a good position. 9 games over right now. It ties a season high. But that's what you have to do. I think we talked about this last week. You got to get double digits over the 500 mark at some point here in the next couple of weeks.
So Miz going tonight. I love the fact that Yelich is back. He seems to be healthy. How much does the back and the flare up of the back scare you throughout this season? Because he takes some time off for the adductor muscle, comes back, has a little bit of soreness in the lower back. I think it was just because of a lack of using the back, so to speak. But it seemed to raise a lot of eyebrows with, here we go again. We're going to have these soft tissue injuries with Yelich throughout the season.
And it's going to be something we're just going to have to live with, I think, for the rest of that contract, Bill, with Yelich.
Yeah.
Just one of those things, right? I mean, he had the leg injury, and now it's this. And I think he's under constant watch because of that and how he's doing. They got him DH in. He's going to play some outfield sometimes. But he comes back and hits a home run. And hits the home run to set the tone last night.
Yep.
Someone messaged me last week, said, we don't need Yelich in the lineup. They do need Yelich in the lineup.
Yeah, they do.
They do need because he can drive in some runs. He can produce for this team. He hit 29 homers, 103 RBIs last year. And I feel like he can possibly get close to that again this season, even though he's missed some time. I think that Yelich, you need a production bat like that in this lineup because there's not a lot of production going on. Now, it's funny how baseball is, Bill, because all weekend long, the Brewers were starving for run production, and here they take on the Cubs. And, it's feasting on the Cubs pitching last night. I mean, they got the show to twice now. They got him in the playoffs last year, and then they got him for 8 runs in the first couple of innings last night.
So give me your thoughts on Sal Frelick, because Frelick struggled early on this season. Seems like as of late, we might be starting to see Sal Frelick pump out of this a little bit.
A little bit. I don't think he's hitting 288 again this year, Bill. Certainly, he hit 220, I don't think. He's better than that. Great defense out there. And he's going to run the bases for you. He's going to give you an all-out effort. I still like him in the lineup every day, obviously. The one thing about having a right fielder, he's got to be able to – I wish he had some more pop to his bat.
Yeah.
He had 12 home runs last year. I wish he had some more pop to his bat playing outfield. But as long as he does the other things, but they need that average to kick up a little bit. He needs to get on base. He needs to get the average going a little bit. But seeing some signs of it, but there's got to be better production out of him. There's no doubt about it. We're talking about the left side of the infield with Renifo and Ortiz struggling. Out right field, I feel like Brewers fans are giving Frelick a pass right now because people are so focused on the left side. The right fielder's not giving us a lot of production. Playing a little bit better as of late, though.
We were talking the other day a little bit about Bryce Terang, and at what point do they go to Bryce Terang and try to make him an offer? You're not in a major hurry for it, but you also, I don't want to say you want to hit him while maybe he's down in a slump or something, but, at what point, what do they work out with Bryce Terang, or do you think they do?
Well, I think that they would love to. They should. Terang said no one has approached him for a contract extension. Okay. But I think the Brewers need to do this before. I would think they would need to do this before the number becomes too big.
Right.
And we can't let this guy walk after 6 years. After 6 years, you become a free agent. A free agent. You can play the market,
right?
Like so many guys have done. But you can't let him walk. You got to somehow, and I'm good getting him 20, 25 million. I know that might be sticker shock to some people, but they got to pay top dollar to keep this guy. I know it's not my money, but they have to. Sooner or later, your position players, you made a commitment to Braun a few years ago. You made a commitment to Yelich a few years ago, and you got to do the same thing with Turang right here. Your core players, you got to make a financial commitment. And when the time comes to Churio, if he keeps on the pace he's on, you got to do that to him too.
Right. Yeah, I would kind of agree and just say, hey, at some point, I think you gotta make that. And he would be a guy that has become such a fan favorite. You would never want to see him get to the point where he is skyrocketing and playing an unbelievable, not only defensive level, but offensive level of baseball, to then watch him leave as well. You know what I mean? It just, we've seen it, but it's just like, God, you don't want to see Bryce Turang go by the wayside.
Now, guys who have left here and have gone on and either been traded or have gone the free agent market like Adames. Like Adames signed that big deal with San Francisco, and the Giants would love to trade him right now. They're regretting every second of that. But we all said, I mean, come on, the Brewers were never going to pay that amount of money. But I think with Turang, you have to think about that because I feel like he's just a special five-tool player that you got to keep on this roster. And he's going to be hitting his prime. He's 27 years old. He's going to be hitting his prime here in the next couple of years. That's a guy. Yeah, I don't want to see him walk. Yeah, I remember what it was like when Molitor walked back in in December of 1992. That was not a good feeling.
Imagine if you could keep him, whatever you do at first base, whatever you do to fortify that, if Vaughn stays, whatever, and then you bring in Pratt and Williams. So you've got the guy that's kind of the starter there. Then you've got the youth coming up. You got Churio for a while. You got good pieces in the outfield, good, incredible defense. You're led by a guy over the next 3 years in Christian Yelich. You obviously have some catching prospects coming up through the system, and your pitching has been stellar. It's just like you're just reloading at this point, man.
Yeah, well, the farms and Madej too. That's the big
too.
That's the other guy you got to think of. But the farm system is so good, and that's a great position to play in. There's another guy named Andrew Fisher who was just tearing it up. First round pick a couple of years ago out of Tennessee, just tearing it up at the lower levels. We're going to see him up here, I think, in the next couple of years. And he can play first base or he can play third base. He can play either one of those positions. The Brewers are that good. But, yeah, just because you're stocked in the farm system, you got to be able to – I think you need to re-sign some of those guys who are already proven on the major league level, and that's what Turang is.
Yeah, without a doubt. Chuck, where do they find you, especially after tonight's victory, hopefully?
Well, Bill, when you don't find me at 11:30 on Tuesdays at the Bill Michaels Show,
there you go.
I'm cranking it up on Locked On Brewers, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your audio podcast. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet. And, of course, our growing YouTube page. Hit us up on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers. You get the full episode there. And what you also get, you get the instant reactions after game. Right after the game, I got a 60-second post-game video on all home and road games. So you'll have that. All the content, as always, as free. Bill, as always, my friend, it is great catching up with you on a Tuesday on your terrific show.
Next week, we're going to I might even have to take a venture down to the ballpark. I'll probably see you over at American Family Field. Probably going to be in the press box on Tuesday or something like that. It's been a while. So
there's always a seat available for you in the press box now.
I think I'm going to do that. They're going to stop by. So, Chucker, always good, bud.
You got it, Bill. Thanks.
Appreciate it. You the man. Chuck Freimund. Going to maybe reunite him, Clemens, the whole deal. We'll just kind of hang out and BS a little bit together down there. I think maybe next week I'm going to head back down to American Family Field and take in a game. It'll be my third or fourth game this season, so I got to get back down there. Good to talk to Chuck. Some good baseball stuff. A lot of good stuff that we just had to drop today. A lot of good stuff we had to drop today. Speaking of dropping today, I went over and saw Jennifer. My girl Jennifer yesterday was over on Sunny Slope. They've got Game Day Men's Health out in Delafield. They got one in Brookfield. They got New Hales Corner, New Berlin, all that kind of stuff, Greenfield. And I went over and saw her, got the numbers, checked up, said, you're doing great, weighed in. She's like, it's perfect. Everything's good. Testosterone's good. Peptide's starting to work. Feel good there. So I'm healthy. I'm feeling really, really good right now, to be perfectly honest with you. So it's working. I've got energy. I'm sleeping good at night, which means you got more energy the next day. Some days you wake up dragging ass. That's only because my schedule's like the way it is. But Game Day Men's Health, it has been a godsend. And like I said, I go see my girl Jennifer over there at any of the ones that I just mentioned. But they're all over the state of Wisconsin. If you are looking for testosterone, they handle ED, erectile dysfunction, as well. So they can help you out there. They can help you out with weight loss. They can help you out with energy. They can help you out with muscle growth. Whatever it is, whatever you've got going on and you're kind of thinking, I want a little kind of a jump start to my health and wellness, and it's worth it. I'm creeping up on 60 years old. I hate it. I think it sucks. I never want to admit it, but I also don't want to look it. I don't want to feel like I'm 60 because some days I wake up, I feel like I'm 90. I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel good. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel energized. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to enjoy my life, whether it's on the Harley, whether it's playing golf, hanging out with you, whatever it is, I do it. And I go to Game Day Men's Health because they're just that damn good. And they've made me a big time believer. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That is GameDayMen'sHealth.com. If you go to the ones that I mentioned, Delafield, Brookfield, all that kind of good stuff, ask for Jennifer. Jennifer, she's a woman. So check that out. But great places all over the great state of Wisconsin. I know they have them in lacrosse. I talk about that out there all the time as well. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Dollar Loan Center will be open on Memorial Day, so here's the real cost to borrow at DLC. Okay, let's do a little math. If you borrow $500, it will only cost you $3.78 per day. You can keep it out for a week, a month, a year. That's up to you. No application fee, no sneaky charges. Just $3.78 per day in interest for a $500 loan. For new customers, the first week's interest is even on us. We lend up to $5,000 in minutes with no checking account or collateral required. It's easy to qualify, and you only pay interest for the time you have the loan out. Dollar Loan Center is open on Memorial Day, May 25th. So stop by to meet our real friendly staff. You can also get up to $5,000 in minutes at don'tbebroke.com and save the drive.
Licensed and regulated by the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. In amounts based on biweekly pay frequency with 10% greater than 275%. For additional cost information, call 866-550-4352. Subject to approval, limitations may apply. See website for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Joe Michaels Show, we're back. Only to say we're going to take a break. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. When we come back, we got some breaking news in the NFL we want to talk about. We'll get into all of that. Some interesting stuff that will affect you and I. So we've got to that to discuss. But, yeah, we got a couple of pieces of news coming out of the NFL ranks. The NFL is always making news. They wait a couple of days, things die down, and then bam, they drop some more stuff on us. So we got some things to talk about. And we're excited. We're excited. I know I am. I'll get your reaction. I'll get Grant's reaction when we return. Looking forward to this. Stay tuned. A whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. We'll be right back.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers and Cubs slated to meet again tonight down in Chicago in the second game of their series. Milwaukee took the opener in dominating fashion last night, 9-3, as Jake Bauers hit a home run, drove in 4. Christian Yelich had a home run for a second straight day. But manager Pat Murphy knows last night doesn't hold some grand meeting for the season when there are still nearly 120 games left.
They don't even know most of our guys' names, you know what I mean? So they're never going to be intimidated by us, but we're not looking for that. We're looking for to turn around and play good again. And, you know, it's a long season. You know, we're 45 or 46 games in, and it's a long season. So we're just looking to continue to improve any way we can. And I'm proud of our guys. Like I've said all year, I trust these guys. But we got to get better. There's no question.
Tonight's matchup going to feature Jacob Mizrowski on the mound for the Crew. Comes in 3-2 with a 2.12 ERA. Has not allowed an earned run in any of his last 3 starts while striking out 29 batters. Chicago will count with Ben Brown. He's 1-1 with a 1.60 ERA. Gone 4 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Allowed just 1 hit while striking out 10. A win by Milwaukee would move them back into first place in the NL Central. First pitch is set for 6:40.
I work for Pella because I know it's a company that builds and installs a quality product. The people that I meet, the stories that I hear, it's really one of my favorite parts of this job.
That's really it. I love being able to walk hand in hand with customers throughout the whole process from start to finish.
I love doing entry doors. When you show that picture of what their future entry door looks like and you get that big smile, that's just one of the best feelings.
Get the look you want for the home you love with 0% financing options available. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Well, the Packers announced a bunch of promotions within their front office this morning. It includes longtime director of football operations, Milt Hendrickson, being named vice president of player personnel, makes him second in command behind GM Brian Gutekunst. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome. Oh, welcome. Yes. Give it to me. Give it to me. How we looking? You know the numbers. Jump on board. 877-867-1670. If you want to follow us via text message, you can. 608-321-1670. Going to get some text messages coming up here shortly. We're on YouTube. You can watch on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. We're on Twitter, on X, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Find Grant at Wisco Grant. We're on the Wisco Sports Zone app, Wisco Sports Zone. You can take us anywhere and everywhere. Also, you can email the program, the BillMichaels at gmail.com. The website simply thebillmichaels.com. We appreciate it. Got a couple followers today, which is awesome, over on Instagram. You can make the meter move. We always appreciate it. Badger Express joined us today. Pierce joined us today. Lenore joined us today. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, you can do so. Simply the Bill Michaels Show. If you haven't followed us yet, we continue to make the meter move behind us. So we appreciate that. We're on the Facebook page, TikTok pages, the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app. We're pretty much everywhere. If you want to find us, it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. You can catch us our TV show, which is Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time in Milwaukee. And that's on My24 TV, My24 TV. So we got some news coming out of the NFL. A couple of pieces of news, as a matter of fact. One is, that was just announced, the 2027 NFL draft is going to, is it the 2027 or 2028? It's going to be in Minnesota. Minnesota is going to be hosting the draft. It is going to Minneapolis. So, I don't know if it's going to get as good a weather as we had here in Wisconsin, because this past year it was in Pittsburgh and the weather was pretty good. It wasn't a terrible day. It wasn't rainy or cold, so to speak. So they had a pretty good turnout there, obviously. But now Minneapolis has gotten their opportunity to host the NFL draft. So it's going to be the Minnesotans' turn. And then Nashville was awarded the 2030 Super Bowl. Now, we knew this was coming because they're building that new stadium down there. And I thought it might be in 2029. But no, they put them off an additional year. And 2030 will be Nashville. So this year, this upcoming football season and the culmination thereof, we're going to be in LA. Myself, Grant, the whole crew. Then in 2028, we are going to be in Atlanta, down there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the big giant convention center next to and right next to State Farm Arena. So we're going to be there in 2028. 2029, we go back to Las Vegas, where we loved it a couple of years ago for the Super Bowl. So we're going to go back to Vegas. And then in 2030, it is going to be Nashville. We're heading to Nashville. So that's the next 4 Super Bowls. And the next NFL draft is going to be in Minneapolis. So there you go. So that's it. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
You own a pair of cowboy boots, by the way? You got 3 or 4 years to get some.
I don't own. By the way, next year is Washington, D.C. I knew it wasn't in Minneapolis next year. Next year, April 2027, it's in Washington, the NFL draft. In 2028, it is going to be in Minneapolis. So we know. So anyway, your cowboy boots? I don't own cowboy boots. I never have. However, I do own ropers, which are similar. They look more like work boots, but they've got this long fringy tongue on them. So I do own ropers, but I do not own cowboy boots. I've only owned, I think, 1 pair of cowboy boots my entire life. Do you? Do you own any?
No.
Okay.
No. Not really the type.
I don't
know that I own a pair of blue jeans at the moment, even.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I own like 2 pairs of just like regular jeans. And then I own like 3 pairs of like dressier jeans. That's it. I got rid of, I had so many jeans. I go back to, remember the days of like Rock Revival? When Rock Revival had the bling all over the butt and the crazy stitching, and it was really loud and it was cool at the time, like Affliction jeans and everything. I owned a bunch of pairs of those. I used to have all kinds of that stuff, but I've scaled it back. I own Page jeans and 7 jeans are the 2 brands that I went with. Page jeans are they're stretchy. It's almost like wearing, like sweatpants. They're awesome, but they look like jeans, but they're stretchy. I love them. I fly in them. That way, you're comfortable when you're flying. But yeah, that's it. So got rid of all that stuff. I did something I never thought I'd do. I think I talked about this. I bought a pair of Hey Dudes shoes, Do you own any of those?
I don't. Kate was telling me about this.
I never in my life. I thought it was the Lazy Man Skechers. But when I went on the trip, I knew we needed shoes. Just in case you had to jump in the water, because there were some places that when the tide was out, you couldn't get to the beach, so you had to jump in the water. And some of the areas we would jump in the water had some coral before you got to the actual beach. So we knew you needed shoes. And I thought, well, hey dudes, they make these water shoes. Okay, whatever. I got to admit, I hate myself for it. I despise myself every time I put them on. I loathe me, but they're unbelievably comfortable. Because I just never wanted to be that guy, that casual, look at me, I'm a cool dude type of dude, They're
just a very, very run-of-the-mill lounging shoe.
They are.
Anyone's going to look at you differently.
They are. I get it. But I bought a white pair and a pair of blue pair. A water pair that's like a blue stitch in it. And that's what I have. So I hate myself for it, but I did.
We have a couple of years to get some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Get you a Stetson.
Yeah. I do have a cowboy hat because that's hanging downstairs. Remember everybody was wearing it at the Christmas party. Do you remember that or not?
I don't think so.
That's
not because I wasn't paying attention.
Ebo's wife, Jen, had it on when her and Kate were dancing. As a matter of fact, I think there's a video of that. The hat made the appearance. And then Ryan, who is our buddy who played the saxophone, Ryan was wearing it while he was playing the saxophone. So the hat made the rounds, but it's not your traditional beautifully felt Stetson. It's just a craptastic hat. So I'd have to get one made. My head's too big. I would look terrible in a cowboy hat. I think I really would. I think it'd look terrible.
Look like a sheriff.
Yeah, I'd look like the sheriff of Nottingham. But yeah, we got some time. And that's like, I'm sure Kate is like out of her mind. We're going to Nashville. She's in 4 years. She'll be out of her mind heading down there. We may never see her.
She'll probably be living there by then.
Oh, speaking of that, did you see the story over the weekend on the Waymos? Where all the Waymos went to a cul-de-sac and got stuck?
They just wanted to hang out together.
I guess all the Waymos. I don't know if it was in Arizona or out in LA or in San Francisco. They all ended up going, like there was 20 something, 30 of them. They all went to the same destination and got stuck in a cul-de-sac. I was cracking up. I was laughing my ass off because I remember seeing the one that went in the wrong way of an In-N-Out burger. It went out in the drive-through in the wrong way, in the exit of the drive-through of an In-N-Out burger. It got confused. So they're not perfect by any stretch. But yeah, it was like 20 to 30 Waymos went down a cul-de-sac and got stuck because they won't hit each other. They won't, and they'll all wait for the other ones to move, and they just sat there and got stuck.
Looks like this is in Atlanta. Yeah,
is it Atlanta? Okay.
Georgia, yeah.
I didn't even know Atlanta had them yet. But yeah, the Waymos all got stuck. That was hilarious. I was loving it. Brett says, did you see Caitlin Clark as a grand marshal for the Indianapolis 500? I did not. I didn't know that. Well, there you go. Hey, she's Indianapolis. They love her down there. The Indiana Fever, that's the hottest ticket. I mean, when Tyrese Halliburton went down with the Achilles injury a year ago, didn't play all this past season, and they certainly weren't really relevant. That wasn't a hot ticket. The Colts were hotter than the Pacers were, and certainly the Indians play well down there, the minor league baseball team. But yeah, the Fever, they have a hot ticket. So she is going to be the grand marshal for the Indy 500. I'm only going by what Brett said over on the live stream, over in the cheap seats. So, but yeah, I can see that. So there you go. So that is our next 4 venues for Super Bowl: LA, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and then Nashville making that announcement. And then this coming year is going to be Washington, D.C. And then after that on the clock is going to be Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they're going to be the host for the 2028 NFL draft. So there you go. Just a couple of NFL now. NFL's always got something to make them relevant, don't they? There's always something there. What is the song? Always something there to remind me. That is the NFL. They're always doing something to remind you, oh, hey, by the way, we're still here. Pay attention to us. We're still here. There you go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Brian says, hey, Bill, I am not looking forward to going to Minneapolis. Not looking forward to going to that town. Not looking forward to going anywhere near the people of purple. Not because I hate the city, just because I hate the Vikings. Period. End of story. Thank you very much. Great show. That's from Brian. Brian's not happy. Brian just hates everything about him. There you go. Okay. Paul says, hey, guys, do you think the Packers will host the NFL draft again? We did it in such fine fashion the first time. I would assume they're going to come back, right? I would not say anytime soon. I would say there is a rotation of cities that want it, and there's a rotation of cities in the bid for Super Bowls. So you got Miami, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta. I got to think Nashville at some point will host a Super Bowl. Phoenix, Las Vegas, San Francisco, out in LA, SoFi. That's what, 9 stadiums right there. New Orleans, that's 10. So if those cities can host Super Bowls, I would assume they're not going to give drafts to those cities. They're going to take care of the other ones. I don't know if, because I don't know. Look, I would assume Buffalo is going to eventually get a draft, an NFL draft, because they're not going to get a Super Bowl. That's for sure. But they may get the NFL draft. So I would assume Buffalo is going to get one. They're going to be on the docket relatively soon. Yeah, and then after that, I mean, pick a city. I'm trying to think of what other cities might be in the running for a Super Bowl with some of the stadiums that are being built or have been built or where they played it before.
You think they'd give one to Cleveland?
Probably not, but they'd probably give them a draft. They'll probably give them a draft. Because they've got a new stadium on the come. That's a great question. I can't. I mean, they may go back to New York for a draft, but they're not going to go back for the Jets and Giants to be hosting a Super Bowl anytime soon. Maybe Baltimore gets a draft. Cincinnati could get a draft. Pittsburgh just had one. Indianapolis has had a Super Bowl, but they could get a draft. Jacksonville's one I forgot when it comes to Super Bowls. They'll get a Super Bowl. They'll do one in Denver. They'll do a draft in Denver. If Kansas City gets that new stadium, can you see Kansas City hosting a Super Bowl? I don't want to say yes, because we've seen some really frigid games in Kansas City for AFC Championship games. Seattle could get a draft. Carolina could host another Super Bowl.
Carolina's an interesting one.
Tampa Bay could host a Super Bowl. So, yes, because there's 12, 13. I think that's it for Super Bowls. So, yeah, everybody else is probably on the docket for a draft, to get the NFL draft. So 13 out of 32. The remainder is probably up for the NFL draft, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so again. 877-867-1670. Yeah, Brett says, does Hammond, Indiana get a Super Bowl? Where are we in that, by the way? Do we know if have they made any announcements? I mean, I know the city of Chicago. Did you see the city of Chicago's arguing among themselves now, where the governor is basically saying that the mayor's an idiot and he doesn't have a plan for the Bears? The Bears say the mayor's an idiot and the governor's an idiot. Neither of them know what the hell they're doing. Meanwhile, the council and everybody are criticizing the Bears for even considering leaving the city of Chicago. And this is just a finger-pointing cluster at this point. Do we even have an idea where they're going to go?
The NFL owners are meeting in Orlando today. On the agenda is the question of where an inevitable new stadium will be built. So they're having like a special meeting to talk about this today, according to Flory.
Okay. I hope they just take it to Iowa. I just do. I hope they move to Iowa. That'd be great.
It seems like, per Courtney Cronin, who covers the Bears for ESPN, club and league staff will update the 32 clubs on the progress of the only two viable stadium solutions, Arlington Heights and Hammond, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, so Chicago's not even in it. And some people are like, okay, good riddance. We don't want it. Which, okay. I mean, if it moves to Arlington or it moves to Hammond, you're never going to get it back in Chicago, ever. It's never coming back. They'll demolish that land and make it some kind of a park and whatever, but I would say the more viable area for them would be Arlington Heights. They're just trying to get a tax break in Arlington Heights to give them a little more money in their pocket, so to speak. Interesting stuff. All right, let's do this. We'll go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. Don't go anywhere. Bill Michaels Show continues on. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Come down there later today. Call our own club. I'm going to see my buddy Gino. Looking forward to it. Whether it's good Italian food you're looking for, authentic Napolitana pizzeria. There's only so many of those certified in the world. There's only 60-something of them certified in the country, and we've got one right here in our own backyard. So it doesn't matter what side you go to. You go 838 Old World 3rd Street. One side, traditional, wonderful, tasty Italian food. I mean, it's perfect. Then you go next door, you got the authentic pizzeria Napolitana San Giorgio. Both places awesome. Right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel, downtown Milwaukee. Calderon Club on one side with the award-winning spaghetti and meatballs. They have got the Bill Michaels, which is the spicy sashina, right there with the chicken marsala. They mix it up, cut it right in half. Oh, it's so good. Or with thin crust pizza, you can do that. Or you go next door and you get the authentic pizza and the other end of the authentic Italian food at San Giorgio. You can't go wrong. Either place, great for date night, great for gatherings, great just to go hang out and kind of curb the craving, so to speak. 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one's from Chastity, who says, isn't it funny how the Green Bay Packers fans live in the head of the Bears fans? Bears finally get 2 out of 3 over the Green Bay Packers, and they think they own the world. We have owned them for 3 decades. They get a couple of wins, and suddenly they're cocky. Chastity, I would agree with that. I just keep smiling. Let's just see what happens this year. Here's a question, and this is, and I saw this a little while ago, and I got to go back to this. And Brett says, hey, Unit, let me ask you this. Here you go. I'm going to ask you. He says, what if the Packers get a 13-win season, but 2 of their losses are to the Bears? Does Matt LaFleur keep his job? If they get 13 wins, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Now, we're not going to be happy about it. I'll tell you that, because we're all going to say it should have been at least 14. You should have at least split with them. If you get beat twice by the Bears and you still win 13 games, now if you go on to win a Super Bowl, then all is forgiven. But you want to win the division. As much as we want to talk about the Super Bowl and Super Bowl or bust, you win the division. Win the division and get a home game, right? Win the division and get a home game. But now if, say, the Packers win 10 games and lose both to the Bears, that might be the beginning of the end. If you get the 10 wins, maybe you're a 7 seed, but if you say you miss the postseason altogether and you lose twice to the Bears, that would be the death knell. I mean, I don't want to get into, overall job speculation. I mean, I'm still behind what's going on and hoping for the best, but I'm just giving you scenarios, right? So if you win 11 games, you win the division, but you lose 2 to the Bears, that's painful. But it's ultimately how your season ends up, where you end up, and let's be honest, why you lose. If you lose because of injury, if you lose because, you play terrible, if you lose because you get a lead and then you lose the lead. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that can happen that you can say, okay, look, these are the reasons as to why. This is what you can rationalize, and this is where emotion takes over. Wisconsin Family says if the Packers win 13 games, I'm going to take a year off from bitching about Matt LaFleur, even if they lose twice to the Bears. There you go. Right? I think if they win 13 games and lose twice to the Bears, that's kind of the blemish on an otherwise really solid season. Right? That would be a blemish on what you would look at as pretty successful. So I'll worry about that bridge when we cross it. There's a lot of things we could say. We could say what happens if they have some injuries and they lose 10 games, and they win 7 on the season. I don't know. There's so many things we could go into the direction of. I appreciate the question, though. But I think this is the year. This is just me. Okay? But I think when that schedule came out, you want to win every game. There's no doubt about it. Every player looks at it. Every player has a game that they want to circle, whether it's somebody they're going to play against, a coach they used to play for, a team that they don't like, whatever. A team that could have taken them in the draft and slighted them. But everybody's got some kind of a meaning that they get a little extra up for a game. But I think after what happened last year with Chicago, the, we'll say, little fueled animosity between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur, I think everybody inside the walls of 1265 looks at the Chicago games and says, we're going to be up for that. We may not do it vocally. We may not do it while we're jumping around and getting crazy and blowing off all this energy, but there's an internal burning saying, yeah, we want that game. We want that game. We not only want that game, we want to get up and we don't want to let them come back. We want to humiliate them if we can. We want to beat them thoroughly and impose our will again. Dominance back in the NFC North. But that's with everybody. I mean, you know, Minnesota fans love to kind of get under the skin of Packers fans. Lions fans certainly have felt it over the last couple of years. They've owned the Packers when Dan Campbell took over and that team was nothing, and then they started beating the Green Bay Packers. So there's enough animosity in the NFC North to circle all of your divisional games. But I think Chicago holds a special meaning. Yes. But I don't think Chicago is, unless they have a horrific season, I don't think Chicago is going to be the sole reason and it would cost anybody their job. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Hey, coming up bottom of the hour, going to hear from Pat Murphy, which is nice. Going to hear some of his thoughts. Love it. Coming up, they get a launch down there in Chicago yesterday. Huge. Big stuff there. Tuesday nights for trivia at Stenny's. They've got the game on tonight. They've got trivia tonight. First and third Tuesday of every month. Prizes for the top trivia teams and the best team name as well. They got smash burgers with fries and chips tonight. They got margaritas and all kinds of good stuff. That's at our friends at Stenny's. Stenny's Milwaukee, Stenny's Lake Country. They got it all going on. So check out our friends at Stenny's. Stenny's, whether it's any one of them for that matter, any one of them, they can help you out. Second and National, Walker's Point. That's where they have the trivia tonight. They've got Watertown Road in Pewaukee, and then on Donges Bay Road in Mequon. But the games will be on. The wings are going to be flowing. All the smash burgers are going to be grilling. It is good, good stuff, and the beer is ice cold. That is our friends at Stenny's. And don't forget, when the Brewers come back home, coming up this weekend, you can take the shuttles to and from the game, to and from American Family Field as well. Let Stenny's do the driving. Go enjoy yourself. Have a beverage. Have one of those award-winning Bloody Marys. Some wings along the way. Down, back, you're good to go. That's our friends at Stenny's. As they say, at Stenny's, you should be here.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Tonight might be the night if you are considering sitting home this evening, getting yourself ready for some Brewers baseball. And if you're not going to go out, like I'm going to go out and take a ride around Pewaukee Lake tonight. I might stop over at Curly's. Who knows? But if not, could be grilling some brats, and I could be heading down to Robert's Specialty Meats. Why I won't head down tonight, because I've already got them. I went down and bought them last week at Robert's Specialty Meats. I got them sitting in the freezer right now. Can't wait. Whether it's the Al Capone roast, hey, maybe bacon wrap fillets, the Wagyu beef steaks, New York strips are fantastic. Fantastic. Kristen loves them down there. Or the thick cut steak pork chops. They have those as well. How about the ribs on a stick? Just heat up the grill, throw them on. About 10 minutes, you're good to go. It's that simple. Whatever it is, whatever it happens to be, they are your hometown butcher. That is Robert's Specialty Meats on Waukesha, in Waukesha. Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. Sunset Drive in Waukesha to be exact. But they've got something for everybody. And don't forget, they've got scallops. They've got crab legs. They got seafood down there. And all the deli items they make, it's all from Wisconsin-made stuff. Whether it's cheeses or potato salads or whatever, it's all from Wisconsin-made goods. So Paul Roberts, they got a lot of great connections here in the state of Wisconsin, and they continue to support local. That's the reason we love them. Go to Robert, they're fantastic. Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. That is Robert's Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. There you go. Good stuff. 877-867-1670. Grain Man Mike says the Bears can't move to Iowa. That would ruin my joke. Why doesn't Iowa have a professional football team? Because then Illinois would want one. I love that. I like that, Grain Man Mike. You're thinking. Madtown Ryan says, hey, how come we're playing the Carolina Panthers 2 years in a row?
It's 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, 3 of 4 at least because of that game towards the end of the year in Jordan Love's first year as a starter, right?
Yeah, they rotate divisions. We know that. And then they take a record. There's always 1 or 2 teams that they put in that is a record that is similar or whatever. It's how they figure it out. So that's why they do it.
I think they play them this year because they play the rest of the NFC South.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Grayman Mike says, I absolutely love my Hey Dudes. I actually pulled out the whole insole and wrap one of those no-show socks around it. This way I can slip them on without even having to wear socks with them. Gotcha. I don't even do that. It's, look, like I said, I wear them with like dress shorts, like my golf shorts, I've got a couple of pairs of dress shorts. So that way, if we go out someplace nicer, but yet I don't have to wear pants, I wear the dress shorts. But I started wearing them and I'm looking at myself going, I'm that guy. I hate myself. I just do. I just do.
You'd be like me, just have a couple pairs of Birkenstocks everywhere around the house and in the trunk of the car. So
they're just laying
golf
everywhere.
shoes come off, the Birks go on.
Yeah. But you got leeches and ticks and all kinds of stuff you got to be careful for.
I'm on quite a run over these last couple
I know,
weeks,
man. That's crazy. This one out of the 715, hey, Bill, great game last night. Although they didn't show Craig Counsell enough while we were spanking them. I like Craig's face a couple of times. They did show it like he's just looking up like, oh, son of a crap. That was it. This is from Joanne. Hey, did you see people that say all the time can have brain dementia down the road? Craig. Joanne, I can't say that. She talks about Craig Counsell in his post-game interviews. Saying and all the time has proven to lead to brain dementia as you get older. I think Craig's still pretty sharp. I don't know if I'm going to go with that. Robbie says, are you going to start wearing Uggs next? No, I'm not. No, I refuse.
Come on.
Nope, not wearing Uggs. Not going to wear Uggs anytime soon. You know what I got? I got Happy Feet slippers. That's all I need. That's all I wear around the house. Otherwise, I'm good. Never going to wear Uggs. Not unless I'm like in a comatose state and they put them on me just to take a picture to say, oh, look, he's out of it. He doesn't know where he's at and he's eating pudding, but he's wearing Uggs. Right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yep. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. What else? We got all kinds of discussions going on over in the live stream. I look over there and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I couldn't even tell you. This is from Luke. Luke says, Bill, big win last night, but let's keep it in perspective. This is a long season. Let's get a couple of more, and then we can really start to celebrate. If the Brewers come back home up a game and a half on the Cubs, then it's party like it's 1999. Luke, I wouldn't even do that. I would enjoy it because then here come the Dodgers. Here come the Dodgers. You can't blow it all over the Cubs and then come home and get spanked. So you just got to keep winning. Just as we were talking with Chuck Freimund a little while ago, just keep winning series. If you just keep winning series, you are going to continually climb. If you're winning 2 out of 3 every time, you're going to continually climb. And that's all you want to do. You're going to continue to ascend towards that 92 to 95 number. That's all you're looking for, and you will eventually overtake the Cubs and you'll be able to go on and win the division. Just keep winning 2 out of 3. That's what we asked for. Jojo says, Bill, love the show. Listen to it every morning on 107.5 The Fan. First time in the cheap seats. That's from Jojo B 2481. Jojo, appreciate it. Started following us on Instagram, by the way. So we've got up to 4938 over here on the counter behind me. So good stuff. Trying to get it up to $5,000 by the end of the week. Bob says Tom Trebelhorn was the worst. I used to have to edit the sound bites for him for TV. Once I cut out all of his stammerings and put a B-roll over it, it turned into a 35-second soundbite that was actually 10 seconds and made him sound super intelligent. That's Carolina Bob. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see here. Ed says, don't forget the Packers played Dallas 7 years in a row in Dallas. Did they really? Wisco family says, ribs on a stick from Roberts are great. I love the cheap seats, man. They just got random stuff. Just stuff flies out of their head. It's awesome. It's awesome. This is Ryan. Ryan says, hey, Bill, circling back, I have to eat my words. I thought the Brewers would go into Chicago and the Cubs would spank them. Instead, the tide was turned last night. We'll see what happens over the next 2 days. Listening down here in Naperville. Cubs fan Ryan. Cubs fan Ryan, you the man. At least you stood up and said, I was wrong. But you know what? Look, we're dancing today. We could be drowning our sorrow in our beer tomorrow. You just never know. The cool thing that I like is the fact that all 3 games are at night. I don't know what it is, but I hate a day game at Wrigley for the Brewers. I just do. I'm not a fan of Brewers day games anyway in general, but I hate a day game at Wrigley. I know here at American Family Field they're cool. I like that, but not on the road. I don't know why. But the day games at Wrigley just never seem to work out in the Brewers' favor. It's kind of like when the Brewers just limp out of town. Brewers got 2 out of 3, but, and it's always that day game. So I love the fact that they're playing 3 night. And maybe it's just me being selfish because I like to sit down and they don't come on while I'm on the air. And I like to sit down and just say, here we go. Grant, you're off the air by that point in time. You get a chance to get home and relax and do whatever it is you're doing. We're all sitting in front of the TV. We got a little grill going and we're watching Brewers baseball. There's something to be said for that. That's what summer's all about. So I like that. 877-867-1670. Mark says you would look good in Uggs. No, I wouldn't. Look, Uggs, you don't want to know, you want to know what and I call it the Brookfield mom look is where I live. The Brookfield mom look is Uggs, black spandex leggings, and like in the wintertime, like a cutoff jacket with somewhat of a baggy shirt. Sunglasses if it's sunny out. That's the Brookfield mom look. Different colored Uggs. Sometimes they're like a pinkish mauve color. Sometimes they're black. Sometimes they're the traditional brown. Sometimes they're white and fluffy. But that's the mom look. Or the girl look for that matter. It's the Uggs, the spandex pants. And the spandex pants now come in so many different sizes, so to speak, for where they go. Some of them, they're just the regular spandex pants. They're the Nikes, they're the Under Armours, whatever. And then you get some of those new manufacturers where you don't even see the seam. It's lodged firmly somewhere. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's a good look on those that can wear it. What you never want to do is wear the spandex pants and look like a VW bug with hail damage walking around the mall. Nobody ever needs that. But that's the look. Then you've got the half shirt with a jacket over it, like a half jacket with a hood. And then you always have your Starbucks. That's the Brookfield mom look in the area that I live. Every time I go out, that's what it is. So there you have it. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Mark says, I want to come where you live. It just is. It just everywhere you go in wintertime, like fall and winter, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, JoJo says every time they were showing Counsell on TV, he always looks befuddled. Don't you wonder? And look, I think Craig Counsell is a tremendous manager. I really do. I think with what he's done, when we were talking to our guy yesterday that does the, Off the Ivy podcast, I think he hit it on the head with all the injuries they've had and the mixing and matching with their pitching staff because of the injuries and what he's been able to accomplish through this whole thing. He's done extremely well. The problems of manager are not one of the problems of the Chicago Cubs. I think he's done extremely well. But what I ask sometimes when I see the acceleration of the Brewers and the camaraderie, the clubhouse, that chemistry, you kind of thought when Counsell left, you're like, oh my God, how are they going to recreate this? Doesn't it make you wonder, Grant, a little bit, like, was Pat Murphy, who was the bench coach and kind of the confidant for Counsell, Was Pat Murphy kind of the catalyst behind some of this, as maybe that buffer and go between in that clubhouse, and it just carried over when Council left and Murph just took over? It's still there.
Maybe. I also feel like if they brought somebody else in to replace Pat Murphy, that would be fine. They have like 8 starting pitchers this year who have come in and given them 5 or 6 really quality innings.
Yeah.
Like this organization just creates pitchers, finds them, acquires them. I think Murphy's done a good job maximizing some of the things. I think he's a really good cultural fit, organizational fit for the way they want to play and the way they want to do things.
Yeah.
And unlike Council, he's got a personality. So that helps. So I think, he was probably a very helpful piece in the clubhouse behind Craig Council, but I think the Brewers could probably replace Murphy with somebody else and they'd still really be good.
Well, speaking of Murph, let's take a listen to what Murph had to say after last night's contest. Here he is.
Good things tonight for sure. We swung the bat against a very good pitcher. We had a good approach, and we did some great things. I mean, Yelly hitting that first ball out of the park certainly makes everybody relax when your leader's on it. Then obviously other guys fall in place, but we had some great efforts. Bowers was incredible again. He's been swinging the bat incredibly good, and Churio and Vaughn, and Freimund gets the big hit there. Joey Ortiz had a great game, but our pitching staff was the name of the game. Sprout doing what he did, and Drone. I mean, those guys are 2 basically rookies and guys we got in trade. So hats off to the front office for getting the right type of guy that knows what being a winner is. And they were great.
Murph, you did that a couple of days ago in Minneapolis too with 2 guys. How does that change everything for the next couple of days? And was it something you thought going in again might be an option?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the A-ball tandem. You know what I mean? Back in A-ball, you did the tandem, and you let them both go. So it doesn't always work that way, but it is kind of a neat concept especially for young pitchers. But that was the plan going in. Drone was, we know Sprout at 75, 80 pitches. That's kind of a mark that he's shown that's really kind of where he's at. And then to have Drone come in, and he's very capable of going 60, 70 himself. So I felt very comfortable keeping him going like we did with Chad Patrick the other day. And who did he come in for?
He followed before Gasser was Henderson.
Yeah, another guy that's 75 to 80. So, it's our A-ball tandem concept.
Murph, how impressive you've been with Drone,
very
getting
impressed.
acclimated to this role.
His poise and making pitches. He's very capable. Fastball, cutter, curveball, slider, very capable. Since spring training, And again, he had the hiccup in his first outing at Boston, but it's 32 degrees. You can't grip the baseball. Shows signs, but he's another great pickup.
What does it say about where Bowers is at that he does this, in a game against a lefty where maybe he wouldn't normally be in there?
Yeah, you're right. My concept of left on left, I've talked to you guys about, is makes your team better if the lefties can handle lefties, and we showed that tonight because Bowers, Freimund, Yelich, Bryce had 3 solid at bats himself, so our lefties were good tonight.
How good does it feel to have Yelich back in the lineup and doing what he does like this?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what it's all about. He's our leader and makes the rest of the group calm. It's, you don't win a game like this without somebody like that leading the charge in terms of temperament and approach.
What does it mean to set the tone in this series the way you guys did tonight here in game 1?
I mean, we know how these series go. You know, you erase it and just keep going. It's not necessarily a game where they're going to ever be intimidated by guys. They don't even know most of our guys' names. You know what I mean? So they're never going to be intimidated by us. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for just turn around and play good again. And for us to, you know, it's a long season. You know, we're 45 or 46 games in. And it's a long season. So we're just looking to continue to improve any way we can. And I'm proud of our guys. Like I've said all year, I trust these guys. But we got to get better. There's no question. And we got a very young pitching staff. So we've got to have games where we have 5 ABs. You know, when the lineup turns over 5 times, then you know good things are happening.
There you go. That's Pat Murphy. And again, they don't know our names. Our guys are nobodies. Nobody knows us. The underdog, the ultimate underdog. That's what Murph plays, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Our friends at Sobelman's, Dave and his wife and everybody over there, they're great people, man. They just keep doing more and more stuff in the community. I saw them serving some meals the other day downtown Milwaukee, and they, whether it's that giant porker burger that they have, or just the great brioche bun burgers that they started years and years and years ago. It's just a fantastic place. Good gathering place too. They do the first Mondays of the month. They do some networking events there. If you're a business owner or somebody that's in business in the area, they do a lot of that good stuff. Not to mention the second location's in Waukesha on William Street. Sobelman's Pub and Grill. There's always something good going on at Sobelman's, my friend.
Meet at Sobelman's.
Milwaukee and Waukesha. Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Michaels Show. We are back. We're back. Hey, if you are out in the West Salem area today, La Crosse area today, Coon Valley area today, Sparta area today, head over to our friends at Big Boar Barbecue, BigBoarBBQ.com. And Big Boar's got so much good stuff. So much good stuff. They have got breakfast sandwiches now, which is awesome. And they've got just so much more. I mean, the traditional stuff, obviously, it's fantastic. But they do so much when it comes to catering. They do so many different deals there. And, oh, by the way, they do different specials now all week long. Like today, it's $1 off the Southwest chicken or the steak wrap, 10% off the award-winning barbecue ribs on Monday, Fish Fry Friday. We always know that. Saturday, you get off the slider sampler trio and so many good things over there. But they've got a terrific menu. They do catering. They do all kinds of events. And they have their own sauces as well. So if you want to go out there and get some tremendous sauces, they've got a sweet sauce, a zesty sauce, a spicy sauce, a Norm sauce, which is a Carolina mustard sauce with a little bit of heat to it. So they got all kinds of good stuff. That is Big Boar, B-O-A-R, BigBoarBBQ.com, which is right out there in West Salem, Wisconsin. Stop in, tell Carter and his brothers, locally owned, that we said hello. Great stuff over there. We got 3 hours down, which means we have another hour yet to go. We're not done yet by any stretch of the imagination. Goose Eggs, by the way, said Big Boar, really good. Stop in there. More, but he's on the Russian diet. I don't know what the hell the Russian diet is, but I would stop in there more and I'd quit that diet. You can still, if you don't do carbs, you can still get in there and get some of the pulled pork and all that stuff too. Just grub down on that. I lost like 30 pounds just eating racks of ribs at one point years ago, years and years ago, like in the early 2000s. Go for it. Face first like you're going to the electric chair. Check out our friends at Big Boar Barbecue. 3 hours down. They got another one yet to go. We'll be back right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers and Cubs slated to meet again tonight down in Chicago in the second game of their series. Milwaukee took the opener in dominating fashion last night, 9-3, as Jake Bowers hit a home run, drove in 4. Christian Yelich had a home run for a second straight day. But manager Pat Murphy knows last night doesn't hold some grand meeting for the season when there are still nearly 120 games left.
They don't even know most of our guys' names, you know what I mean? So they're never going to be intimidated by us. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for to turn around and play good again. And, it's a long season. We're 45 or 46 games in, and it's a long season. So we're just looking to continue to improve any way we can. And I'm proud of our guys. Like I've said all year, I trust these guys. But we got to get better. There's no question.
Tonight's matchup going to feature Jacob Mizrowski on the mound for the Crew. Comes in 3-2 with a 2.12 ERA. Has not allowed an earned run in any of his last 3 starts while striking out 29 batters. Chicago will count with Ben Brown. He's 1-1 with a 1.60 ERA. Gone 4 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Allowed just 1 hit while striking out 10. A win by Milwaukee would move them back into first place in the NL Central. First pitch is set for 6:40.
I work for Pella because I know it's a company that builds and installs a quality product. The people that I meet, the stories that I hear, it's really one of my favorite parts of this job.
That's really it. I love being able to walk hand in hand with customers throughout the whole process from start to finish.
I love doing entry doors. When you show that picture of what their future entry door looks like and you get that big smile, that's just one of the best feelings.
Get the look you want for the home you love with 0% financing options available. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Well, the Packers announced a bunch of promotions within their front office this morning. It includes longtime director of football operations, Milt Hendrickson, being named vice president of player personnel, makes him second in command behind GM Brian Gutekunst. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome in, everybody. So glad that you are hanging out with us today. Love it. Love it that you're here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you big time. Thanks so much. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And thanks for the follow, Mark J. Mark J over there on Instagram. Patrick Jellin. Also, 5150 Dog, D-A-double-G. So everybody over there following on Instagram. Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it. And if you want to follow us there on Instagram, you can, The Bill Michaels Show. You can follow us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app. There's so many ways to find the program. Don't forget, 8 o'clock Central Time on My 24 TV in Milwaukee. That is on Saturday nights. That's the television show. You can also email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Thebillmichaels.com is the website. The app, Wisco Sports Zone. We are on YouTube under Bill Michaels Show, and you can find us on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels. Find Grant at Wisco Grant. At Wisco Grant. Cheesehead, Chris and Hayward says, what a gregarious thing that I would do to even get sentenced with the Bears. Cheesehead Chris listening up in Hayward. Well, they're not going there. There's only 2 spaces that they... Man, somebody's making a meter move. I like it. People following us on Instagram. There's only 2 places they could go. One is going to either be Hammond, Indiana, or the other one is going to be in Illinois, not in Chicago. Arlington Heights is where they're possibly going to move. But they're updating the owners who will then help the Bears make a decision. And who knows if the city of Chicago steps up and says, hey, we're going to come in and try to, steal this thing at the last minute in the midnight hour, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it doesn't look good for the city of Chicago. Let's put it that way. Remember when we were having this conversation in Indianapolis, Grant, with Greg Cosell, when we were talking about the ownerships of some of these teams, how they've basically been given everything, and the city of Chicago said, no, we're not giving it to you. You're going to have to pay for a lot of this. And the Bears are like, no, we don't. So they bought land in Arlington. There's a couple of families that are like that. One, Cincinnati's the same way. Cleveland is the same thing. They're going to the city and the state for more funding for the Cleveland Browns new stadium, but Cincinnati's going to be the same way. They're asking for more money to do renovations to Paycor Stadium down there. The Bears are one of those families that this is their business. It's the Chicago Bears. The Hallis and the McCaskey family, they've been given everything, and they're asking for more money and more taxpayer dollars. And so the city of Chicago basically said, go pee up a rope. And so this is what you do, though. You run the risk of losing that team and losing that centerpiece in your city if you play chicken with them, because they always figure out other options. They'll figure out a way to get the money. The rich can find a way to get the money. That's what it is. Now, as somebody if I'm somebody that lives downtown and I'm a Bears fan, I think it sucks. But if I'm somebody that hates to drive into that city and go to a Bears game and pay the stupid parking and go with all the rules and go through that stupid ass parks department to try to figure out whatever traffic pattern they're putting together that day and all the dumbassery that goes on in the city of Chicago, I don't mind that at all. As a matter of fact, if they go to Arlington Heights, it's closer to where we live. We'll take it. But anyway, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, do it. Rick says Chicago is so poorly run, they're just broke. This would not have happened when the mob ran the city. No, the mob would have kept them there. But the mob would have had a hand in everything. They would have had a hand in everything. Parking, food distribution, grounds crew equipment. They would have had a hand in everything. They would have been getting paid regardless. They wanted you to tear up the soil so they could bury some bodies in and put the soil back down. So yeah, the mob it's terrible. They're terrible killers, but certain things that they did, short of kind of the robbing and pillaging for their own gain, some of the things they stabilized because nobody wanted to mess with them. So
Trains ran on time.
They stabilized industries because you were afraid of getting killed if they didn't, But Without the mob, there's no Vegas. Right? Without the mob, there's no Vegas. What else? All the garment industry in New York. The garment industry was ready, where all the designers go between Paris and New York. Some in Milan, but the garment industry was saved by the mob. Lucky Luciano, him and his partner, got into the garment industry and basically told all the garment manufacturers, you're going to pay us, because the garment industry was going under. So they had cash. So they loan sharked them money. And they said, look, you're going to pay us and we're going to give you so much money back and nobody's going to take your competition. We'll make sure everybody makes money, but we're going to make the majority of money. And everybody went, okay. And so a lot of the manufacturers that would have gone out of business didn't and stuck around because the mob paid them to. Because the mob knew that was good for business. So there's some things the mob did that were business-wise kind of smart, but the way they went about it in killing people, you just don't want that, You just couldn't have enough business visionaries around to be able to do what they did without strong-arming people into it. I don't know how we got on that. 715, the NFL teams want all our hard-earned money to build stadiums, and then they schedule them international games. Come on, you can't have the cake and eat it too with ice cream. That's Mark in Marshfield. The problem is, Mark, yes, they can. Yes, they can. Because we'll still do it. I go back to when the Bucks were looking for their, the Fiserv. When you look at all the different stadiums and arenas that are being built throughout the country and all the taxpayer dollars, we got off relatively easy. I mean, thank God for Senator Cole, who put up $2 million or $200 million of his own money to say, here you go. I'll fill the kitty. And then you did have an ownership group that said, hey, we'll put money in too. And then we picked up the rest and we've gained the benefits from it. It does mean something. Imagine if you didn't have the Bucks. Imagine if you didn't have the Brewers. Right? There's not only the monetary aspect of it for people coming in from out of town because they know there are going to be games played here, plus all the tax dollars that the athletes bring into the state of Wisconsin. I get all that. But just think about community pride. Where we're all at today. Imagine if we didn't have the Brewers. Where would we be today? We wouldn't be coming in here getting all fired up because they beat the Cubs. We'd be coming in talking a little Packers and maybe a little more hockey from last night between the Canadians and the Sabres. Paying attention to the night that Wemby had with a 40-20 night. But we wouldn't be giving two damns about the Brewers because they would have left. They would be the Nashville Brewers or the Nashville Countrymen or whatever it is. And we wouldn't have cared. Right? So I think about stuff like that. There's a sense of community throughout the state. Because we, when I traveled years ago with the Packers, you'd see people wearing cheese heads and shirts and jerseys and stuff. And you say, hey, where are you guys from? And they always say, I'm from Wisconsin. They never say, I'm from Oostburg or I'm from Green Bay or I'm from Sheboygan. I'm from Manitowoc. It was always, I'm from Wisconsin. There's a sense of we are Wisconsinites. One for all and all for one. Doesn't matter where you're from, what part of the state, but we're all for one. After that, we can get specific. Oh, yeah, I live here. Oh, my friends live there. Oh, I visit here. Yeah, okay. We all have familiarity. But that's why this network was such a thought, because nobody had segregation when it came to cities and communities. We were just all Wisconsinites. We all love the Packers and the Brewers and the Badgers and the Bucks and on down the road from there. So it was a no-brainer. That's why you don't want to lose that kind of stuff, because you never get it back, right? You never get it back. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Who's this one from? This is Terry. Terry says, hey, Bill, big game last night, but the only way that game means anything is if Miz is on fire tonight. They come back to get themselves a solid win against the Cubs. They take 2 out of 3 already before the game is even played on Wednesday, and we are smoking cigars and drinking happy. I cannot deny that at all. Yes. I'll go right along with you there. I'll go right along.
I feel like last night was significant. Talked about this on my show last night too, is because you didn't really know how Sproat was going to play, right? Mm-hmm. So you think, okay, if you can get tonight, you should feel great about your chances either tomorrow or the next day, because Miz against Ben Brown is advantage Brewers. Mm-hmm. And Kyle Harrison's been excellent. And he goes on Wednesday against Cabrera, who can't miss bats. He's been hit around pretty good too. So I think the first game was important for both teams because I think it's going to be hard to come back and win the series. Really well positioned game, but I think the way the pitching, the rotations kind of aligned last night was a big fulcrum in this series.
Mm-hmm. Last night was a night in which we all breathed a little bit, if that makes sense. We all went, oh, it wasn't a nail biter. It wasn't like, oh my God, they couldn't get, couldn't drive in runs with runners in scoring position, couldn't hit the long ball, errors, kept it close. I mean, a win's a win, you take it. But last night was just one of those, okay, you could breathe. You could breathe. You could see it in the Cubs fans' faces. You could feel it through the TV, even. With the boisterous cheering from Brewers fans that had infiltrated Wrigley Field, you could just kind of breathe a little bit. Anxiety a little bit, but not nearly as much as it was last night because you were just hoping. What you were hoping for last night, I agree with you, Grant, you weren't sure what you were going to get out of Sproat. And if Sproat was terrible and say the Cubs got off to a 4-0 start, you're kind of like, oh boy. You're already starting to think about game 2 and Miz, man. Miz has got to get a win. You got to get a win because if they don't, oh my God, you start thinking about that stuff. But last night, man, with an easy win, now you got Miz on the hill. Now, there's no guarantee that they're going to get a win because Miz is on the hill, but it's certainly the odds seem to creep up to a certain extent in your favor. And after that, if you get the win, well, then you're just happy as hell. At that point, if you get the sweep, then it's just icing on the cake.
And the important thing last night was Drohan pitched the final 4 innings. So your bullpen's rested.
Yeah.
All your leverage guys got the night off last night because of what Drohan did. And, it's not like they've been worked hard over the weekend, too, because Chad Patrick went 4 on Saturday. So your bullpen's in a great spot. You've taken the first game, and now you have probably your first and second best starting options on the hill in each of the next 2 nights. Now the rest of the series is set up really well. Who knows how it'll go? I just like the way that it aligns, and it all kind of started with Brandon Sproat, the result last night.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Fired up and ready for tonight. Hell yeah. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-867-1670. Joe says, hey, Bill, I saw you. Oh, he saw you yesterday. Thank you very much. He saw you over at the gym. Didn't want to say anything. Wanted to say hi. You're looking good. I wanted to ask you a question about Owczarski. Do you have any concerns about him throwing 103 plus? Do you think he's just getting stronger, or do you think he's getting more snap in his arm? And how much can one person throw before Joe? He says before the arm gives out. Joe, I don't want to think about that. I just want to think that whatever Miz is doing. Remember, they talked about how much weight did he put on in his lower body with leg strength and conditioning? They just said it the other day. That he ended up, Sophia Minner during the game had a whole piece on Miz and the leg strength that they worked on because he's got such a kind of a tall, lanky frame. So they worked on his legs. I think it was like 20 pounds or something like that, where he worked on his legs, not only strength, but the conditioning. So he could throw high end throughout an entire game. And I can't remember what the total was, but Joe, I'm not worried about that. I do. I think a lot of Brewers fans always wait for the other shoe to fall. So unfortunately, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just happy that Miz is going out and throwing good baseball and leading them, majors and strikes and pitches over 100 and, and he's getting it done with stuff. He's not getting it done with just straight heat. He's getting it done with stuff. He's got good movement on his swerve. He's got good movement on his changeup. So I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I'm not going there. That's the waiting for the other shoe to fall, scared of reality mentality. Just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more to get to. This portion of the program brought to you by, let's go back out to the western portion of the state of Wisconsin, our friends at Buzzard Billy's on Pearl Street in La Crosse. Weather's been beautiful. Tables are outside, so get ready. It may not be great over the next couple of days, but certainly by the weekend, it'll start warming back up. Always a good time. Go in there on Fish Fry Friday. You can get the shrimp Alfredo with a little bit of the Cajun spice to it. You can get the fish, or if you're like me, I love the poutine, which is awesome. Wisconsin beer cheese soup, fantastic. They've got a tremendous quesadilla out there. You don't have to go get a big meal to get yourself full. It's awesome. Buzzard Billy's, love it. Starlight Lounge, upstairs, craft cocktails, all kinds of good stuff. Personally, love that Snickers cocktail. They've got a cream to mint cocktail. They've got a, what is it? I can't remember what the name of it is, but they got a green mint cocktail, like a martini. It's fantastic. Love that too. It's hard to choose. Or if you get all three, then you make sure you get an Uber. Regardless, Buzzer Billy's downstairs, Starlight Lounge upstairs, Pearl Street in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And they're in that old 1860s brick hotel. Just a beautiful place. Those two places right there in one spot. Absolutely awesome. Buzzer Billy's in the Starlight Lounge.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Dollar Loan Center will be open on Memorial Day, so stop in and have our friendly staff help you make plans over the long holiday weekend. We're open on Memorial Day every year at all of our locations, making it easy for you to get up to $5,000 in minutes. It's free to apply, and we are usually half of the cost of the competition. We don't require good credit, collateral, or a checking account. Once approved, we do instant funding to the account of your choice or give you cash. We charge interest daily, so you can pay off quickly and save big. And new customers get the first week's interest on us. Apply for free online at don'tbebroke.com today. DLC loves Wisconsin and lends up to $5,000 in minutes. We're open on Memorial Day, so stop by our locations to meet our real friendly staff. You can also apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed and regulated by the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. Subject to approval, limitations may apply. See website for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
What does it mean to set the tone in this series the way you guys did tonight here in game one?
I mean, we know how these series go. You know, you erase it and just keep going. It's not necessarily a game where they're going to ever be intimidated by guys. They don't even know most of our guys' names. You know what I mean? So they're never going to be intimidated by us. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for just turn around and play good again, and for us to, it's a long season. We're 45 or 46 games in, and it's a long season. So we're just looking to continue to improve any way we can. And I'm proud of our guys. Like I've said all year, I trust these guys, but we got to get better. There's no question. And we got a very young pitching staff, so we've got to have games where we have 5 ABs. When the lineup turns over 5 times, then good things are happening.
Pat Murphy, good things are happening. They did last night, didn't they? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They were bombing. Yelly bomb. Bowers bomb. Good pitching and then some good relief work. The Brewers walk away with a 9-3 win. Back at it tonight. The Miz on the hill for the crew. After I get off the air today, I am heading out to Suburban Harley-Davidson. So if you're out in that area, I will see you there. Suburban Harley, fantastic. I told you earlier that I took my bike in I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. And they called me back on Monday and they said, hey, we got it in. We're going to get your shocks on. So I had to get some advice. Didn't know which way to go, whether it was air ride or not. And they said, nope, don't do air ride. Too many things can happen to it. We can properly install it, but if anything goes bad, then you're stuck. So I kind of agreed with that. So they put Super Shock Legends on. I can't wait. I can't wait to ride it. I can't wait to feel the difference in the ride and everything that goes along with it. I had a little nick on the rear fender of the paint. They touched it up and they buffed it out and cleaned it up for me. And they said it's washed up. The oil's been changed. The filter's been changed. Fluids have all been checked. Tires are all good. You're ready to go. Come on back out and get it. In just a couple of days, they got it done. They can get your bike ready to go for summer as well. Not to mention they can teach you how to ride. And tonight, if you're out in the Cedarburg area, it's Wednesday night or Tuesday night bike night out at Wayne's Drive-In. So if you're going to go out there, even though you may not ride, depending on what the weather's like, it's pretty warm right now, but still head out to Wayne's, man. That's like a 50s, 60s ice cream burger circular carousel diner. It's pretty cool. And they got a big tent out there and they have some music and DJs and stuff. And it's just the camaraderie of bike night at Wayne's Drive-In. Tuesday nights out there in Cedarburg, all brought to you by our friends at Suburban Harley-Davidson, family-owned, community-minded, and they are the landing spot this year, again, for the 19th annual Big Unit Poker Run, which benefits Big Unit Foundation and also Fisher House, Wisconsin. We can't wait and say thanks so much to Todd and everybody out there at Suburban Harley-Davidson. So can't wait to get out there and pick the bike up later on today. And I'm dropping Kristen's bike off too, so I'm going to exchange. She's going to get her oil and everything changed on her bike. She got beautiful, beautiful Road King that she very rarely ever rides, but she's going to get the oil changed and everything on it. So there you go. 877-867-1670, 877-816. Phone number if you want to text us, you can do so. 608-321-1670. Jimmy, been a while with Jim since you've shot me an email too, so I appreciate it. Thanks. Glad to hear from you again. He said, first of all, speaking of that, I was glad to hear that Terrell from the north side is still alive and well. I heard him on the program the other day. Also, the fact that the Green Bay Packers have made some changes on the coaching staff, and it's not all in the hands of Matt LaFleur. Maybe they will bring in the culture change and not necessarily rely on Matt LaFleur. I think things are beginning to look up in Green Bay. I like what Goody did this offseason. I think the personnel is better. On to the Brewers and the Cubs. All I have to say is the Cubs can suck it. 9-3 last night. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. There you go. Jim, don't be a stranger. Appreciate it. And I hate the saying winner, winner, chicken dinner, just so you know. There you have it. There you go. Oh, man, we got all kinds of stuff. Paul says, you were talking earlier about some of the young guys beginning to come up. At what point do you make that decision? If Cooper Pratt really is a better shortstop, why not just play him now? Why would you be so afraid of screwing up chemistry? I think Chuck Freimund said it best. He said, look, they're going to give Joey Ortiz all the time in the world to make sure he can figure it out. If he goes into like some kind of a prolonged slump, yeah, Cooper Pratt's going to make his way up. Also, Murph said, and he's right, there is a big difference between AAA pitching on an in and out basis versus every pitcher in the majors being really good. So there's no guarantee that's going to translate just because you bring somebody up. So you probably would want to wait for the opportunity, say an injury or really a prolonged slump. But when you bring them up, You want to bring him up to play. You don't want to bring him up to sit the bench. You want to make sure that he continues to get his at-bats. So right now they're winning. It's a fine line. If Joey Ortiz starts costing you ball games because he just is awful at the plate and just has become a sinkhole, that's when you start to look and go, okay, well, maybe we should make a change. Maybe it's time. And as I told you earlier, Matt Arnold was down in Nashville last week. He went down there specifically to look at some of the young guys that are down there. He went down to take a look at these guys. So we'll wait because obviously what he sees right now, with the Brewers, they know they need more from Ortiz and Rengifo and Hamilton. They've all played those positions on the left side of the infield, right? They know they need more from them. I mean, between Williams and Pratt, they're on base percentages 460 and 430. Joey Ortiz's on base percentage is 289. Rengifo's is 302 and Hamilton's 261. Now Matt Arnold, he didn't want to weigh in on what they were considering if talking about call-ups or anything like that. But as Adam McCowie said, notably, he was just in Nashville last week to check in with the Sounds while his son, Tyler, was playing a baseball tournament in the area. And he wasn't there just to see Pratt and Williams, but the Brewers are also very high on some of the outfield prospects as well, like Luis Lara, some of the young pitchers, recently promoted Tyson Harden, another guy they wanted to take a look at. But those two guys, they're taking a look at hard. Don't make no mistake about it. Brewers looking at ways to improve the team from all angles. But how would those changes, as he puts, be received in the clubhouse? Would a call-up play every day or begin his career in a part-time role to maximize matchups? Would that happen? How would the players on the business end of a demotion handle that? What would it mean for the defense that's been so stellar? What would it mean for the overall organizational depth? Ortiz and Hamilton are optional, but Rengifo, who signed a $3.5 million deal, he's out of major league options. You can't just send him, or otherwise he's gone. The simple thing to say, as he puts it, is who cares? Who cares about all of that? Make the change. But it's a little more complicated from a GM suite perspective than it is, say, from the press box. So right now they're winning, and you don't have to make the change. You don't have to do that. So wait and see. Wait and see. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. But it's a great question. It's something, as both players, Pratt and Jet Williams and others, continue to play well. Their averages continue to go up. Their power numbers continue to go up. Their on-base percentage is solid. Their stolen bases are solid. I mean, and they continue to play really good defense. They're going to put that pressure on Joey. And maybe Joey Ortiz is already feeling it. Like, hey, if I don't pick it up, they're going to call these guys up sooner rather than later. And Rengifo the same. Now, both guys have made some spectacular plays at third base and shortstop. Defense-wise, it's been really good. And I said before, how many runs have they taken off the board just by not allowing runners to advance or creating outs where really there might not have been one? Maybe it was a bang-bang 50-50 play, but they're getting the outs more often than not. So you don't know what specifically that comes to. But if you bring up more bat, and there's no guarantee how many more runs you're going to be scoring if you have more opportunities at the bottom of the lineup than what you have right now. So it's a fine line, man. And I tell you this, it's a great problem to have right now if you're Matt Arnold, where you don't even have guys that are hitting consistently over 230, but yet you're winning ball games. Think about that. Think about that. This portion of the program brought to you by Levine Ice Burner. Whether it's an injury, maybe you just got a contract you need written up, some business stuff that needs to be taken care of, or maybe you want to talk about your living will or your will in general, estate planning for your loved ones so they don't have to pay the price, so to speak. Levine Ice Burner. And Brent Ice Burner, he's a military veteran, and he brings the same attention to detail to your case and to the courtroom. Also works with Fisher House. That's where I met him, and a really good guy, and does a lot of work pro bono for us, for Big Unit Foundation. They're just great people. Levine Ice Burner, all you got to do is call 608-621-2888, 608-621-2888. That's Levine Ice Burner. They are trustworthy, and they actually answer the phone. They actually go to court, and they actually build a relationship with you. Imagine that. 608-621-2888. When we come back, we'll talk a little Bucks basketball. Kind of get because yesterday Obviously, Darvin Ham was not hired by the Pelicans, so he's still floating around out there. There's a lot of rumors about Giannis floating around out there. Obviously, the Doc discussion continues to linger on. We're going to get into all of that when we return. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We get fined for all types of stuff now. You guys get fined a lot?
It depends on the coach. So Doc Rivers, he didn't find anybody. Guys were late all the time. Guys were, showing up to film whenever they wanted to show up. Guys were missing meetings. Like, it was one of the craziest things I personally experienced. We literally, if the plane took off at 2:00, we weren't leaving until 4:30. I'm being so serious, bro. It was crazy, though. Guys were an hour late to the plane. It got to the point where I knew not to show up until like an hour after they said the plane was taking off. It was crazy.
So who's the teammate that's most likely to be late? Well, all of yours, obviously, because nobody gets fined.
Giannis is going to show up whenever he wants.
How about that? Giannis, he's going to be the guy that's going to be the team leader in the sense of not being a leader. How about that? All Nations Solar Electric, they bring you this portion of the Bill Michaels Show. And if you are looking for, say, a switch doesn't operate properly, or maybe a light isn't lighting up, or it's flickering or something like that, get a hold of Greg. He's the master electrician serving the Fox Valley and all of northeastern Wisconsin. And if you want to give him a call, give him a call. They do great work. Whether it's a house rewire, a switch that needs to be rewired, maybe you want to put in a generator, something's gone out. I don't know what it is. There's all kinds of problems that can arise. 920-661-7577. Get a hold of Greg, the master electrician. 920-661-7577. Or if you're thinking about solar, they can do that as well. AllNationsSolarElectric.com. AllNationsSolarElectric.com. But just for your electrical needs, get a hold of Greg. He's the master dude over there. 920-661-7577. Good stuff. There you have it. All right, let's bring him in. He's the guy that's got all the information regarding all the rumors, all the innuendos, everything that's going on regarding the Milwaukee Bucks. Our buddy Jim Owczarski is joining us on the hotline. Jim, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, Bill. I'm good.
So let's start off with the Miles Turner trade rumors now that he's let the cat out of the bag, that Giannis is the largest culprit of not obeying the Doc Rivers policies.
Well, what's the Doc Rivers policy, Bill?
Well, this is true. This is true. Good point.
So let's just rewind it back for listeners who probably missed this. So right after Doc was fired / retired / quit, whatever you want to call it, that week, Bill, he went on Bill Simmons and admitted he didn't hold players accountable for whenever they arrived. And basically also admitted he was pretty much done once the season started. Like, he was already on the golf course. And so, look, I'm not saying players taking advantage of that is the right thing, right? Like, if you have a coach who's not going to set a standard, and allow the players to sort of self-police or show up on time on their own volition, and they don't. Look, they're professionals. You would think, hey, Doc clearly thought this was a team that could handle that, and very clearly they couldn't. And then I don't know if he tried as the year went on to rein it back in, but at that point, Bill, you start losing the cats out of the bag. You would ask me a long, long time ago, did Doc ever lose a team? Did Doc lose a team? And I always struggled with that answer, because you kind of go with what you see, what you hear, but clearly, Bill, he never had the team in order to lose it. And I think it starts with this type of thing.
Does this, because to me, with what Miles Turner had to say, it reflects more poorly on Giannis than it does on Doc. Would you agree?
Maybe. Look, Bill, we never heard any of this, meaning the best player on the team, the 2-time MVP, being late to things with Mike Budenholzer, right? And of that nature. And even in the last couple years before the season with Doc, you never heard, guys being late. If anything, it was sort of the opposite. You heard, these veteran guys, Chris, Brooke, Pat Connaughton, Bobby, like putting the work in and doing their thing. So I'm not excusing Giannis. If Miles says he's the guy who's late all the time, who am I to know? I don't fly on the team plane. I'm not on the team buses. But look, if he says he's late, then he's late. And does it look bad? Of course it looks bad or sounds bad. But I just feel it's just another one of those things, Bill, when you win 32 games and your best player plays 36 and you're a bad squad. Like, this is just the stuff that comes out. This is stuff that happens.
So how do we then move forward in looking at this as, okay, if Giannis checked out, does that then reinforce the, hey, I want out of Milwaukee stuff? Or is it just he kind of realized this season was going south, the change was made, Tyler Jenkins is, all over it, he wants to keep Giannis? Or do we just look at all these different rumors that seem to make things relatively inevitable that there's going to be some trade deal done? I guess it's more pointing towards Giannis not being here than is being here, but how do you take all of that?
Yeah, I think it's two different things. I think if Miles is correct, that Giannis was late all the time to everything. And I'm not entirely sure that's what he meant. But yeah, I would say that was more him being checked out on the head coach, Bill. I mean, Giannis was on the record several times this year talking about needing more accountability, needing more structure from the coaching staff. He said this in several post games this year. And I think that's, and when I talked to him about Taylor being hired, couldn't have been more effusive. Loved the culture that was established in Memphis. Obviously, Taylor Jenkins was on Mike Budenholzer's first staff in Milwaukee. So I think this Giannis issue had more to do with Doc. I don't think that's I'm done with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, look, John Horst, well, first of all, ownership and John Horst have said, they're willing to take calls on Giannis, Bill. And so I don't think this has to do with that. I think it's ownership still trying to decide, what do we want to do with this franchise over the next 5 years? Is it with Giannis or is it not? And I still think they're in that decision-making process.
I would agree with you. I guess where there's smoke, maybe there's a little bit of fire. And I think teams would be stupid that have assets not to call to say, hey, would Giannis become available? Because this is really kind of it. I mean, if he signs the Supermax here, his values for the next 2 years is going to be high. And then after that, you would assume it's going to begin to decline because of his age and probably the wear and tear on his body. So this is kind of it for any team to grab that brass ring and go after Giannis. What about the rest of the team? I mean, if they say the Miles Turner experiment didn't work and they're going to trade him away and they may move other pieces, they've got some additional things to spend, they've got a draft choice. What about the remake of this team in a different vision? How drastically different will it look coming onto the hardwood next year?
Yeah, that's question 1B after the Giannis answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to look different even if they decide, let's do this. Giannis is still a top 5 player. We think he's going to be that. Let's retool. You're still probably trading Kyle Kuzma and or Bobby Portis. You might move off this 10 pick. Just for reference, Bill, the number 10 pick last year was used in the deal to get Kevin Durant. Now, look, Houston traded better players in Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green than the Bucks have, but, you can get a really good player if you use the 10 pick and that sort of deal. Now, if they decide to move on from Giannis, Bill, I mean, John Horst would not want to call it a teardown, but what's the purpose of having 30-year-old Miles Turner? What's the purpose of having 31-year-old Bobby Portis? What's the purpose of having 31-year-old Kyle Kuzma? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yes, you still have to field a team. Yes, the Bucks would want to win 41 to 44 games and make the playoffs, but I think if you're trading Giannis, you might as well just rebuild and retool around maybe the best player you're getting back for him. Miles probably fits. Like, let's just throw him out there, Bill. Paulo Banchero, he can't shoot. Having a stretch 5 works with Paulo Banchero. If you trade for Jalen Johnson in Atlanta, Jalen also could use a stretch 5. So Miles probably has more value with the team going forward with or without Giannis, Bill, at least for another year. But that said, he was on a team that was 3/4 away from winning the finals last year, Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. He still is going to have a lot of value as a winning player, even if his podcast might open some doors or make maybe coaches are, what might this guy say? But he'd probably have the most trade value of any veteran outside of Giannis, Bill. So, yeah, I think that's the 1B. Where's John Horst and ownership going with their best player? And I think all those other answers follow after that.
I've seen a couple of deals that have been kind of floated out there. One of them, if OKC, if they lose, they're talking about, well, maybe they move Holmgren for Giannis. Now, to me, Holmgren for Giannis, I don't think I'd do that straight up. I mean, obviously, there are going to be more assets involved in that. And then I see the Tyler Hero package with numerous draft picks and players coming from Miami, which basically guts their team and puts Giannis on a team kind of in exile down in Miami. I don't know what benefit there is to Giannis if he gets traded. Certainly, I can see it for the Bucks. But if Giannis gets traded and they gut a team to do it, then he's going from the frying pan into the fire where he doesn't have a legitimate shot of winning a championship in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that's part of this for him, Bill. Look, even if he looks at this roster for next year and John Horst can't quite get it to, find, like, first of all, there's no guarantee. But, this is for sure an Eastern Conference favorite. The issue is, if they trade him for anybody, Bill, it's you're pretty much decimating that team for another year anyway. Now, you mentioned Miami. I don't know why, again, if you're the Bucks, why you want to trade Giannis to the East. Because if you're already going to be rebuilding and trying to reset as a middle-tier playoff team, do you really want to face Giannis in the playoffs all these years? Probably not. Now, Oklahoma City, Bill, maybe John Horst has his fingers crossed. Maybe the Thunder, who won 62 games, get beaten because they have no answer for Victor Wembanyama. Now, Sam Presti down there doesn't make rash moves, doesn't do a lot of dumb things. But if they have no answer for Vic, Giannis is the answer, Bill. Like, for the next 3 years, Giannis is the only player in the league that can put Victor in the basket. We've seen it. Vic has no answer for Giannis on the defensive end. And Giannis can actually defend him in the post. Now at 31, 32, can he go out to 30 feet? No. So I would say, I guess, Bill, John Horst's dream, if it's his dream, would be Jalen Williams, maybe A.J. Mitchell, Kason Wallace, some of those really good young guys as salary filler. And then, some of those future Oklahoma City picks. So, but Sam Presti, would he do that 1 year after winning a title, after winning 62 games? Hard to say.
Jim, great stuff as always, pal. We appreciate it. And as things continue to wind down, we will talk again real soon, okay?
Yep. Talk to you soon, Bill.
There you go. That's our buddy Jim Owczarski for a couple of minutes talking to Bucks basketball, among other things. And where the Bucks kind of go from here. Now we just kind of wait for the rest of the offseason to kind of play out. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, set you up for more Brewers baseball, Brewers and Cubs coming up tonight. Excited about all of that good kind of stuff. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up here in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Roll out the winning this May at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. Have a barrel of fun with your share of $300,000. Just play with your rewards card for entries, and Thursday night you could hit a home run. Plus, your May drawing entries all count towards the Big League Series prize drawing in June. It's Tic Tac Home Run, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. It is Tuesday night. You know what that means. You know what that means. That means it's Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill Night. Taco Tuesday night. And it is Free Tab Tuesday. You know what Free Tab Tuesday is? That's when they draw a table number. If you're sitting at it, you're eating, you're drinking, you're having a good time, you're watching the Brewers game tonight, and they draw your number, your tab is free. Free. Food, fun, cash, so much more. They got free darts tonight. 11 a.m. to midnight, all day, every Tuesday is the darts. They've got taco lasagna tonight, Taco Tuesday tonight, double ticket cash giveaway tonight, plus Free Tab Tuesday. So good stuff. Tacos, Coronas, margaritas, nachos, quesadillas, you name it. They've got a little bit of everything. That is our friends at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Go out there, check out the game tonight on the tube, and who knows, maybe they pay your bill. Maybe they pay your bill tonight. Fantastic stuff at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. So, Grant, I was, during the break, I went downstairs, and I noticed the cameras went off. I'm like, I wonder who's here at the house, because I'm not expecting a ton, but there's a couple of things I'm looking for. And I get a package. It's from our buddy Stu over at Quick Trip. Stu sent us hoodies, some Quick Trip hoodies. I got a Quick Trip hoodie for you. He said, here's one for Grant. So there you go. Got a Grant Bills Quick Trip hoodie.
It's appreciated.
Fantastic stuff. There you go. Hey, we got the game coming up tonight. Game 2 we'll talk about tomorrow. What else do we have coming up tomorrow? Anything in particular, or are we just kind of winging it and seeing what happens?
Well, we'll react more to Brewers Cubs. We'll have some baseball folks on. Rob Reichel going to join us this week. We were going to have him last week, and something came up. So we got him back this week to kind of talk about the Packers schedule. And I know at some point we need to spend a little extended time just talking about the fact that Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers are together
I
again.
know, right?
And
We
that's
have
going to
to.
be really entertaining. We didn't get to it today, so probably tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got to. And maybe we'll dip into somebody over there in Pittsburgh. I got to put out a couple of feelers. See if somebody will join us just to talk about. Although I don't want to talk about what kind of ice cream he bought. That's not what I'm looking for. Just an
I'm
FYI.
surprised. It was probably frozen yogurt. I don't think he eats dairy, right?
Apparently he was having some kind of an ice cream, some kind of a caramel thing. They were reporting on it, like they do with everything, but they were actually reporting on it. So I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But I do find it interesting that Adam Shine from Shine on Sports says that the combination of McCarthy and Rodgers will have more wins than the combination of Love and LaFleur. So we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow as well, because I want to go through both schedules just to kind of see if that's actually a viable option or not. I don't think it is, but it is what it is. So we got all that coming up tomorrow. So tonight, we all know it's a big one. The Miz is on the hill. Can't wait. You've got Jacob Mizorowski and Brown going at it tonight. Meanwhile, Cincinnati is on the road. They're taking on the Phillies this evening. Plus, you've got the Pirates. They're on the road taking on the Cardinals. So you've got teams in the National League Central all going at it this evening. The Pirates and the Cardinals are the two teams in the division, along with the Brewers and the Cubs that are going at one another. So there you go. So that's going to do it for us today, and it is time for us to get out of here now. So we're going to enjoy ourselves, and in 20 hours from now, we're going to reconvene. Hopefully, we're talking about Brewers baseball, yet another Brewers win, and the Brewers then having a hold on first place in the National League Central. Can't wait. Can't wait. Good stuff today. Thanks to everybody for participating. Keep following us on Instagram. Follow The Bill Michael Show on Instagram. The Bill Michael Show